Chapter 5:32. Seeing this, Su Chen was slightly taken aback. Generally speaking, Protoss were known for their mind power cultivation. However, this Protoss male before him chose to engage in close combat. It was obvious that he was a post-human. This was a little out of his expectations. However, he did not think too much about it. As his opponent approached him, he threw a punch. There was a muffled bang. After the two fists collided, Su Chen and the Protoss male both retreated. It was the first time they had exchanged blows. Both of them had the intention of testing each other out. It was hard to tell who was stronger from this attack. Su Chen wanted to continue attacking, but he suddenly felt an invisible force crushing toward him. He did not need to guess to know that the mind power was released by the Protoss male in front of him. Su Chen was a little surprised that the Protoss male had dual professions. What was even more incredible was that his opponent was clearly only at level 6, but the strength of his mind power had surpassed level 6 and was comparable to a level 7 mind power. Interesting. Su Chen was slightly moved. He also released his mind power. The two minds tangled together, and the void distorted. You have dual professions too. The Protoss male was shocked. For the first time, he took Su Chen seriously. If that's all you've got, I'm afraid you won't be able to survive. Su Chen smiled faintly. With his current strength, it was difficult to meet a decent opponent of the same level. The Protoss male before him was barely qualified. He also wanted to see if his opponent had any other trump cards. Shameless boasting. The Protoss male scolded. The expression on his face gradually turned serious. Since you have a death wish, I'll grant you your wish. As soon as he finished speaking, he clasped his hands together, raised them high, and slashed at Su Chen from afar. There was a sizzling sound. The void seemed to be cut into pieces. An extremely sharp invisible force was aimed at Su Chen and slashed at him. Su Chen's eyelids twitched. It was the first time he had seen someone condense their mind power into the shape of a sword. In the face of such a strange attack, he even felt an extreme sense of danger. Su Chen did not hesitate and quickly released his spiritual force to block in front of him. Unexpectedly, his spiritual power did not play any role in blocking the attack. It was actually slashed open by the giant spiritual power sword. Brat, you can die now. The god race man sneered and continued to slash at Su Chen with the giant sword made of psychic energy. Su Chen's expression turned serious. His hands glowed with a dazzling golden light as he punched out. There was a loud explosion. Under the huge impact, Su Chen took several steps back. However, he still managed to shatter the spirit sword of the Protoss man with a single punch. Why is your physical body so strong? The God Clan man was shocked. The spiritual energy sword condensation technique was his strongest trump card. His power was unparalleled. In the past, when he fought against enemies of the same level, he could instantly kill them. Even if they were one level higher than him, they would still be severely injured. On the other hand, Su Chen, who was at the same level as him, was able to defeat his spiritual energy sword condensation technique unscathed. And from the looks of it, he didn't use much strength. This caused him to feel a deep sense of dread. Brother Pei, this brat is a little strange. Let me take him on. Seeing that the god race man could not do anything to Su Chen, the bald young man beside him roared and charged toward Su Chen. His aura was ferocious like a wild beast. After witnessing Su Chen's strength, the god race man did not stop him this time. You're courting death. Su Chen snorted coldly and punched out from afar. In an instant, the sky was filled with golden fist shadows that connected into one and smashed down on the bald young man. What a powerful secret fist skill. Feeling the fierce aura from the golden fist shadows, the god race man's expression changed abruptly. The bald young man also had a solemn look on his face. However, he did not choose to retreat. He gritted his teeth and a thick layer of rock appeared on his body. Chapter 5:33. In the next moment, the golden fists landed on the bald youth, completely engulfing him. Bang, 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 a violent explosion resounded. When the golden light dissipated, the rocks on the bald youth's body were shattered. His face was covered in dust, and he looked very haggard. However, his aura was very even. This meant that Su Chen's Pegasus Meteor Punch did not cause any damage to him. "Kid, you have some ability, but you're still too inexperienced to kill me," the bald youth sneered. Su Chen did not reply, but his eyes gradually narrowed. His opponent was able to take 100 of his punches with just his physical body. It was clear that his opponent's defense was very strong. However, the strength he had shown was only the tip of the iceberg. If he went all out, he was confident that he could kill his opponent. Just as Su Chen was about to launch a second round of attacks, Flaming Phoenix's signal came from the tipet rearing space. "Flaming, what's the matter?" Su Chen asked. "Master, there are two people outside. One is Pei Hai of the God race, and the other is Piao Po Wushang of the Rock race. They have both entered the Void Battleground and awakened special abilities. They are very strong. Let me go out and fight with you." Flaming Phoenix explained and volunteered to fight. So they have entered the Void Battleground. No wonder they are so strong. Su Chen suddenly realized. As for Flaming Phoenix's request to fight, he rejected it. It was rare to meet strong opponents like Pei Hai and Piao Po Wushang. It was a good opportunity to train himself. Su Chen's gaze drifted to Piao Po Wushang. "I hope you can use your full strength. Don't disappoint me." With that, purple light flashed on his feet, and he charged at Piao Po Wushang at the speed of light. Piao Po Wushang's eyelids twitched in the face of such terrifying speed. He did not hesitate to condense rocks again. "Attack together." On the other side, Pei Hai roared as he gripped his psychic energy sword with both hands and charged at Su Chen from the side. He was very clear that against a strong opponent like Su Chen, if it was a one-on-one fight, he and Po Wushang would not be a match for him. If they wanted to defeat and kill Su Chen, they would have to work together. Pei Hai's spiritual energy sword condensation technique was extremely lethal. Su Chen would not stupidly take it head-on with his physical body. Just as Pei Hai was about to attack, he raised his hand and threw out a huge rock that glowed with 5 different colors to block in front of him. Pei Hai didn't think too much and slashed down with his sword. Squeak squeak. Amidst the sound of grinding teeth, the giant sword formed from mental energy actually shattered inch by inch. This, Pei Hai looked as if he had seen a ghost. His expression turned sluggish as he suddenly exclaimed in shock, "Sacred artifact." Su Chen ignored Pei Hai. After a few flashes, he appeared in front of Ruan Po Wushang. "Die!" Ruan Po Wushang roared as he clenched his fist and smashed it at Su Chen. He knew very well that he couldn't avoid it. Only by defeating Su Chen head-on would he have a chance to survive. Su Chen instantly released his psychic energy, causing Ruan Po Wushang to fall into a sluggish state. He then closed in and grabbed Ruan Po Wushang's head with both hands. Following that, he activated the Heavenly Hundredfold Strength technique and pulled hard. With a crack, Ruan Po Wushang's head was broken from his neck and separated from his body. *CK. Pei Hai was scared out of his wits when he witnessed this bloody scene. On the intelligent chariot, Yang Hao and the others also had goosebumps and couldn't help but shiver. Yang Qian and the other 2 girls simply closed their eyes and stopped paying attention. There were thousands of ways to kill, but Su Chen chose the most shocking one, causing everyone to feel a chill. Chapter 5:34. Su Chen casually tossed crushed Wushang's head to the ground. Even though he was dead, his eyes were still wide open. They were filled with unwillingness and fear. At the same time, the moment crushed Wushang's headless body fell, a dazzling light shone. There were more than 100 shards. Su Chen had the automatic pickup function, and these more than 100 fragments had been automatically collected. Gulp. Pei Hai swallowed his saliva and turned to run. Not only was Su Chen powerful, but he also had a divine weapon. He knew very well that even 2 of him together would not be a match for him. If he did not escape now, he would lose his life here. "Do you think you can escape?" Su Chen smiled contemptuously, and his feet moved gracefully. In just a few breaths, he caught up to Pei Hai. "Senior, please spare my life." Feeling a murderous aura surging toward him, Pei Hai was scared out of his wits and loudly begged Su Chen for mercy. Su Chen was unmoved. He held the integrated 5 extremes mountain, and smashed it down on Pei Hai's head. Pei Hai released his spiritual power to block it, but in front of the 108,000 kilograms of the integrated 5 Extremes mountain, his spiritual power was as fragile as paper. There was a loud rumble. Pei Hai was heavily pressed to the ground by the integrated 5 Extremes mountain, deeply embedded in the soil. Chen Ji's mountain is really powerful. On the intelligent war chariot, Yang Hao and the others were shocked. Su Chen had also used the integrated 5 Extremes mountain in the Jade Forest mountain, but he did not display the true power of the integrated 5 Extremes mountain. At this moment, the integrated 5 Extremes mountain had smashed a level 6 Shen clan cultivator to death, and the shock it brought to them was unparalleled. Su Chen walked forward, put the integrated 5 Extremes mountain into his storage bag, and narrowed his eyes as he looked down. In the middle of the deep pit, there was a bloody meat patty and hundreds of shards that were shining with a lustrous light. The corner of Su Chen's mouth twitched slightly, and the 100 fragments were automatically collected. After returning to the intelligent war chariot, Su Chen immediately ordered, "Satoshi, continue to rush to Tianwang City." Then he sat in the driver's seat and began to deal with the debris. In less than an hour, the intelligent war chariot arrived at Tianwang City. After paying the energy stones to enter the city, the intelligent war chariot successfully entered the city. Su Chen had 2 goals for coming to Tianwang City. The first was to confirm the opening time of the transmission array, and the second was to obtain the Flying Spirit Stone. Su Chen pondered for a moment and decided to look for the Flying Spirit Stone first. The Flying Spirit Stone was in the hands of the Yulong Chamber of Commerce. After finding out the exact location of the Yulong Chamber of Commerce, the intelligent war chariot drove over. Half an hour later, the intelligent war chariot appeared outside the Yulong Chamber of Commerce's shop. The Yulong Chamber of Commerce was one of the largest chambers of commerce in Tianwang City. They sold a wide variety of products, such as weapons, elixirs, and spiritual plants. As a result, it attracted a large number of customers. At this time, there were nearly 100 people purchasing items in the shop. Su Chen led the group into the shop. At this time, a waiter came up to them and asked with a smile, "Dear customers, what would you like to buy? Ask your shopkeeper to come over. I have a big deal to discuss," Su Chen said calmly. "Big deal?" The waiter's eyes lit up and he said, "Please wait for a moment. I'll be right back." After the waiter left, Su Chen whispered to the group, "Look around and take whatever you like." Yang Hao and the other 2 looked at each other and immediately became excited. They understood what Su Chen meant. He was preparing to confiscate their property. Chapter 5:35. Sherdaniu and Chao Ran remembered clearly that back in Heaven Connect City, Qin Lang of the Tongfu Chamber of Commerce had committed all sorts of evil deeds and had been completely uprooted by Su Chen. And the Yulong Chamber of Commerce had even sent people to kill Su Chen a few days ago. Given Su Chen's style of doing things, he naturally would not let the Yulong Chamber of Commerce go. Not long after, the waiter and a lean middle-aged man walked over. "Gentlemen, do you have any big business to discuss with me?" The lean man asked with a smile as he sized up Su Chen and the others. Su Chen said bluntly, "Is the Flying Spirit Stone with the Yulong Chamber of Commerce?" Flying Spirit Stone. The lean man's expression froze as he looked at Su Chen again. He shook his head and said, "How could the Yulong Chamber of Commerce have something as precious as the Flying Spirit Stone?" "Is that so?" Su Chen snorted softly. Without any warning, he grabbed the lean man by the neck and lifted him into the air. This happened so suddenly that the onlookers were shocked and started discussing. Poor they. How dare they behave so atrociously in the Yulong Chamber of Commerce? Are they tired of living? That young man seems to be a powerful evolver. So what if he's an evolver? The Yulong Chamber of Commerce has level 5 evolvers. In Tianwang City, there were clear rules that forbade fighting. Once they broke the law, they would be severely punished by the guards. And the Yulong Chamber of Commerce, as one of the top forces in Tianwang City, was an existence that could not be provoked. In the eyes of the onlookers, Su Chen dared to behave atrociously in the Yulong Chamber of Commerce. He was simply courting death. his fate would definitely be extremely miserable. How dare you? How dare you behave atrociously here? You must be tired of living. The waiter's expression was furious. He cursed angrily and rushed straight towards Su Chen. Sherdaniu, who was at the side, reacted quickly and kicked the waiter's chest. Accompanied by the crisp sound of bones breaking, the waiter screamed and flew backwards. Along the way, blood splattered everywhere. Seeing Sherdaniu violently injure someone, the onlookers gasped. The lean man was choked to the point that he could hardly breathe. He struggled desperately. Su Chen loosened his grip and stared at him. He said coldly, "I'll give you one more chance. Tell me the whereabouts of the flying spirit stone." The lean man's body of commerce's body of heaven trembled. He should be in the auction of heaven now. Where will the auction be held? Su Chen asked. The lean man seemed a little hesitant, but under Su Chen's sharp gaze, he finally gritted his teeth and said, "It should be in the city lord's mansion. Of heaven, of heaven, of heaven, of heaven. Of heaven. Of heaven. Of heaven, heaven, of heaven." Su Chen led a group of people outside, and the surrounding onlookers quickly moved away, fearing that they would not be able to dodge in time and would be killed. Unexpectedly, they were surrounded by a large group of guards as soon as they walked out of the Yulong Chamber of Commerce. "Who are you? How dare you kill people in Tianwang City?" A ferocious-looking guard shouted at Su Chen and the others. "Kill him!" Su Chen snorted and walked onto the intelligent war chariot without paying any attention to him. Sherdaniu and the other two were like three ferocious beasts. They rushed up and killed the guard on the spot. The other guards watched helplessly as their captain was easily killed. They were all terrified and stood rooted to the ground, not knowing what to do. Chapter 5:36. Back in the car, Su Chen immediately asked the intelligent war chariot, "Satoshi, find the location of the city lord's mansion." The image on the central control screen changed for a while, and soon, a magnificent building appeared. Then, the image changed again. In the main hall of the building, there were dozens of people sitting around, most of whom were from the alien tribe. In front of the main hall, a beautiful young woman was holding a wooden tray with both hands. There were more than 20 blood-red ores on the tray, which were the flying spirit stones. Seeing this, Su Chen turned around and got out of the car. He said to Wu Yang, "Captain Wu, I'll go to the city lord's mansion first. You guys follow me." As soon as he finished speaking, he stepped on the void as if he was stepping on a flight of stairs. When he reached a certain height, he ran wildly and disappeared from everyone's sight in the blink of an eye. Seeing this scene, the onlookers were stunned, as if they had seen a ghost. After Su Chen left, Wu Yang asked everyone to get in the car and drove straight to the city lord's mansion. After witnessing the strength of Sherdaniu and the other two, none of the surrounding guards dared to step forward to stop them. On the other side, Su Chen had already flown to the top of the city lord's mansion. He released his mental strength and locked onto the specific location of the main hall. He directly smashed the roof and forced his way in. Crash! Large pieces of rubble and gravel fell into the hall, followed by a tall figure. This sudden scene caused everyone in the hall to be somewhat astonished. At this moment, they all stared at Su Chen with wide eyes. When they saw that it was a young human, they all had a very strange feeling. This was the mansion of the city lord of Tianwang City, Han Sanqian. The young man in front of them dared to break in like this. He was too bold. Was he not afraid of death? When the main hall fell into silence, a middle-aged man with a dignified expression glared at Su Chen and said sternly, "Who are you? How dare you break into my mansion? Do you want to die?" "So you're the city lord of Tianwang City." Su Chen glanced at Han Sanqian, rubbed his nose, and said indifferently, "Nothing. I'm just here to get something." "Take something? Would the city lord's mansion have something that belongs to you? Even if there is, you can't use such a method, right? Is Han Sanqian's residence somewhere you can just barge into?" While everyone was puzzled, Su Chen stepped in front of the beautiful woman and reached out to grab the flying spirit stone. The beautiful woman was so scared that her face turned pale and she screamed. She was just an ordinary person. The only reason she could appear in this kind of situation was because of her good looks. Seeing Su Chen suddenly attack, she instinctively wanted to dodge, but to her shock, she discovered that her entire body was restrained by an invisible force, and she was unable to move at all. "How dare you!" Seeing that Su Chen dared to snatch the flying spirit stone from under his nose, Han Sanqian flew into a rage. With the speed of a level 6 evolver, he rushed towards Su Chen with a murderous aura. Su Chen acted as if he did not see him. He did not dodge or defend, and he just grabbed the flying spirit stone calmly. "Put it down." Seeing that Su Chen ignored him and put the flying spirit stone into a cloth bag, Han Sanqian could no longer suppress the anger in his heart. He threw a punch at Su Chen's chest. There was a loud bang. Han Sanqian's punch landed accurately on Su Chen's chest, but it was strangely bounced off. Han Sanqian could not help but take a few steps back when he felt a huge rebound force coming at him. Chapter 537. How is this possible? Han Sanqian stabilized his body and looked at Su Chen with a shocked expression. His eyes were filled with horror. What a powerful physical body! The others in the hall were also shocked. Han Sanqian was a true level 6 evolver. When he unleashed his full strength, the power of his punch was extremely fierce. However, the young man in front of him had only used his physical body to take the blow. Not only was he not injured at all, but he was also able to rebound Han Sanqian. It was really unbelievable. "Friend, who are you? Why did you snatch our flying spirit stone?" At this moment, a human elder with a withered face raised his voice and asked. Su Chen curled his lips and said disdainfully, "Why should I tell you who I am? As for the flying spirit stone, it was originally mine." The flying spirit stone belonged to the flaming phoenix, and the flaming phoenix was his spiritual pet. In principle, it belonged to him. However, the people in the hall did not know about this situation, and Su Chen would not explain it so thoroughly. Shameless boasting. A tall undying snorted coldly and stared at Su Chen. He berated, "Human, do you think you can behave atrociously here just because you have a powerful physical body? Hand over the flying spirit stone obediently, or don't blame us for being impolite." Su Chen was very strong, but he was only one person after all. There were several level 6 cultivators present. As the saying went, a tiger could not withstand a pack of wolves. He did not believe that with so many experts, they could not deal with a human. "Kid, hand over the flying spirit stone, and I'll guarantee your survival." A green glow race member echoed. "How should I address you?" Su Chen looked at the green glow race member and asked indifferently. "This king is Kai Origin City's city lord, Chui Tiancheng." The green glow race member said proudly. "You're the city lord of Kai Origin City?" Su Chen exclaimed softly, then shook his head and said regretfully, "There's an irreconcilable enmity between us." A few days ago, he had killed a green glow race member named Chui Mu, who was Chui Tiancheng's son. "What do you mean?" Chui Tiancheng was slightly taken aback. He was sure that this was the first time he had met Su Chen, so where did the so-called hatred come from? Su Chen smiled and explained, "You have a son called Chui Mu, right? A few days ago, he actually took the initiative to provoke me, and I casually crushed him to death. The grudge of his son's murder was absolutely irreconcilable. Shouldn't you avenge him? I want you dead." Chui Tiancheng was like an erupting volcano, roaring as he charged toward Su Chen. At this moment, his heart was completely filled with hatred, and he did not care if he was a match for Su Chen. When Chui Tiancheng made his move, the others looked at each other and also made their moves. They had all come here for the flying spirit stone, so how could they just watch as the flying spirit stone was monopolized by Su Chen? Of course, they all knew that Su Chen was definitely an exceptionally strong opponent. If it was a one-on-one fight, no one would be a match for Su Chen. That was why they did not hesitate to join forces to kill Su Chen. They believed that if several level 6 cultivators joined forces, they would have a certain degree of confidence in dealing with a level 7 cultivator. Facing the siege of so many experts, a hint of contempt appeared on Su Chen's face. Then he held the enchanted divine saber and swept it out. As a white torrent shot out, the entire hall seemed to have fallen into a world of ice. The temperature dropped rapidly, and even the air seemed to have frozen. Chapter 5:38. What level is this ice elemental sorcery? The hall was filled with exclamations of shock. Everyone was trying their best to stop the white torrent with all their might. However, Su Chen's ice elemental sorcery was a combination of 2 ice elemental manifestations and the enchanted saber. Its power was comparable to a level 8 sorcery. It was not something a group of level 6 cultivators could stop. In the blink of an eye, dozens of lifelike ice sculptures appeared in the hall. All of them had lost all signs of life. However, 2 of them were lucky enough to escape with their lives. One of them was the governor of Tianwang City, Han Sanqian, and the other was the skinny old man. Su Chen had intentionally spared the former's life. He only froze half of his body so that he could no longer fight back. On the other hand, the skinny old man survived with his own strength. He held a black wooden staff in his hand, which was emitting a green glow. Ripples of green light spread out, blocking the white torrent that was attacking him from outside his body. "You're quite capable." Su Chen looked at the skinny old man with interest and said calmly. There were a few level 6 cultivators present. However, they were too weak. They could not even be compared to Pei Hai and Po Wushang, let alone Flaming Phoenix. On the other hand, the skinny old man from the human clan was able to withstand a level 8 ice elemental sorcery with just a wooden staff. This surprised Su Chen. "Senior, I'm from the Holy Empire. Everything can be discussed." After witnessing Su Chen's true strength, the skinny old man was almost scared to death. The Holy Empire? Su Chen's expression changed slightly. The Holy Empire was one of the top 4 forces on the mysterious heavenly mainland. Considering that he would definitely visit the various forces on the mysterious heavenly mainland in the future, he wanted to take this opportunity to understand the Holy Empire. What's the level of the strongest person in the Holy Empire? Su Chen stared at the skinny old man and asked coldly. "Senior, the strongest person in the Holy Empire is our king. He's a level 9 sorcerer." The skinny old man did not dare to hesitate and answered truthfully. "What about the strongest of the other forces?" Su Chen asked calmly. He had heard from the Flaming Phoenix that the human race had quite a few saint-level experts. A saint-level master was enough to pose a fatal threat to him. If he were to enter the mysterious heavenly mainland, he would have to avoid them in advance. The strongest person in the Wenxi dynasty is a level 7 evolved being. The Forgotten Autumn Mountain has several level 10 evolved beings. As for the Barbarian Shrine, other than a level 10 evolved being, there are also several level 9 cultivators. The skinny old man replied in detail. Su Chen was a little confused. According to the skinny old man, the Forgotten Autumn Mountain should be the strongest force in the mysterious heavenly mainland. However, even the most powerful forces did not have a single saint. Where did all the saint-level experts go? If they couldn't confirm the location of the saint-level powerhouse, they would have to take a certain risk in going to the mysterious heavenly mainland. This was something he absolutely did not wish to see. Where did those saint-level experts go? Su Chen asked in a deep voice. "Senior, you know about saint-level experts?" The skinny old man was a little surprised. Saint-level experts only existed in legends. Very few people knew about them. Moreover, it had been a long time since the mysterious heavenly mainland had a saint-level expert, so many people had forgotten about them. "If you dare to talk nonsense again, don't blame me for not showing mercy." Su Chen's face darkened as he snorted coldly. The skinny old man trembled and hurriedly explained, "I don't know where the saint-level experts went, but there are rumors that they're in the holy region. As for where the holy region is, I don't know." Chapter 5:39. The Sacred Region? Su Chen muttered. Were all saint-level experts hiding in the sacred region? Since he could not figure it out, he did not want to dwell on it any longer. Instead, he asked, "Let me have a look at the wooden staff in your hand." The wooden staff looked ordinary, but it could withstand a level 8 ice-type spell. It was definitely not an ordinary item. The skinny old man looked reluctant, but under Su Chen's gaze, he gritted his teeth and handed it over to Su Chen. Su Chen held it in his hand and looked at it carefully. At this moment, the longevity fruit tree's signal came from the planting dimension. If there was nothing important, the longevity fruit tree would not contact him. Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. He quickly opened the planting dimension and communicated with the longevity fruit tree. "Little longevity, what's the matter?" "Master, the wooden staff in your hand is a branch from the tree of life." "What's the tree of life?" Su Chen asked. The name of the tree of life was awesome, and it piqued Su Chen's interest. The longevity fruit tree explained. The tree of life contains a majestic life force. Not only can it heal injuries, but it also has a certain defensive ability. More importantly, eating the fruit it bears can bring the dead back to life. Really? The ability to bring the dead back to life was too heaven-defying. Even with Su Chen's willpower, he could not control himself. "Master, it's absolutely true," the longevity fruit tree replied with certainty. Hearing this, Su Chen took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. He then looked at the skinny old man and asked calmly, "Where did you get this wooden staff?" "Arcane, Li Sheng, gave it to me," the skinny old man replied truthfully. Su Chen's eyes lit up. He continued to ask, "Where did Li Sheng get it?" The value of a treasure like the Tree of Life was incomparable. Since he knew about it, it meant that he was fated with it. He had to get his hands on it. The skinny old man thought for a moment and replied, "A few years ago, Li Sheng went out once and brought back a large piece of withered twig from somewhere. Later on, he used that piece of twig to make many wooden sticks and distributed them to those of us who have performed meritorious service." Su Chen narrowed his eyes and began to think. The piece of dead wood that Li Sheng brought back was obviously from the Tree of Life. Where was the Tree of Life? Was he dead or alive? Su Chen couldn't figure this out. He could only ask Li Sheng when he met him in the future. After obtaining the information he needed, there was no point in keeping the skinny old man alive. Su Chen released his mental power without warning, sweeping towards the skinny old man. "Senior." The skinny old man was infuriated. He didn't even have time to shout before he was crushed to death. After killing the skinny old man, Su Chen turned around and slowly walked towards Han Sanqian. "Senior, spare my life." Han Sanqian begged loudly. At this moment, Su Chen was a cruel and murderous demon in his eyes. With every step Su Chen took, Han Sanqian felt that he was one step closer to death. When Su Chen came to his side, the last line of defense in his heart completely collapsed. He no longer had any dignity as a level 6 evolver. If his body wasn't bound, he would have knelt at Su Chen's feet and begged Su Chen to spare his life. Su Chen curled his lips and asked coldly, "When will Tian Wang City's teleportation array be activated?" "Senior, if I answer truthfully, can you spare my life?" Han Sanqian gritted his teeth and asked. He had seen Su Chen's methods. He killed without mercy. Although he was extremely afraid of Su Chen and knew that his words might anger Su Chen, he could only fight for his life. Chapter 540. What I hate the most is people haggling with me. Su Chen's face darkened as he used his mind energy to crush one of Han Sanqian's arms. "Ah!" Han Sanqian screamed in pain as his face contorted. "I'll ask you one more time. When will the teleportation formation be activated?" Su Chen narrowed his eyes. His gaze was unusually cold. "It will only be activated in a month." Han Sanqian had learned his lesson this time and answered hurriedly. "Why a month? Can't you speed up the activation time?" Su Chen's face didn't look too good. Anything could happen in a month's time. What if the primordial spirit sculpted fruit tree changed hands again? "Senior, Wangshu Island doesn't have the final say when the teleportation formation will be activated. It's always been the Wind Shi dynasty's decision," Han Sanqian explained. "Can you contact them and ask them to shorten the time?" Su Chen probed. Han Sanqian shook his head. "Senior, there's no such possibility. Once the Wind Shi dynasty has decided on the activation time, there's absolutely no possibility of changing it." Upon hearing this, Su Chen fell into deep thought. Wangshu Island was not the only teleportation formation to enter the mysterious heavenly mainland. There must be similar teleportation formations on other islands. However, he did not know which islands had them. Are there any teleportation formations on other nearby islands that can enter the mysterious heavenly mainland? Su Chen asked. In his opinion, Han Sanqian, as the governor of a city who had been in charge of the teleportation formation for many years, should have some information. As far as I know, there's one on Chongsu Island too. However, it's too far away from here. Even if we take a ship, it'll take a month. Han Sanqian thought for a moment and replied. It seems like we can only wait for a month. Su Chen sighed faintly. Han Sanqian's words were equivalent to not saying anything. It was better to wait here than to spend a month on Chongsu Island. However, in this case, Han Sanqian could not be killed. This was because if Han Sanqian died, Tianwang City would be in chaos and the teleportation formation would be destroyed. In order to protect the teleportation formation, someone had to guard it. It was impossible for him to stay in Tianwang City for an entire month. Therefore, the most suitable candidate was Han Sanqian. If you do one thing well, I can spare your life, Su Chen whispered as he looked at Han Sanqian. Han Sanqian was overjoyed and said, Senior, please tell me what you need. I will be leaving this place for a while. Protect the teleportation array well. If anything goes wrong, you can forget about living, Su Chen said grimly. Han Sanqian's expression froze, and he hurriedly promised, Senior, don't worry. I guarantee it with my head. Su Chen nodded slightly and said nothing more. Then he leaped and broke through the roof of the main hall. He flew into the air and stepped on the void. After Su Chen left, Han Sanqian sat down on the ground and wiped the cold sweat off his forehead. He clicked his tongue and said, Since when did the human race have such a terrifying expert? Although Su Chen spared his life, he still felt uneasy. In particular, when he thought of Su Chen's means of killing a group of experts, he was even more frightened. On the other side, Su Chen returned to the intelligent war chariot and immediately asked Shen Mingfei about the teleportation formation. He could not fully believe Han Sanqian's words. He needed to confirm it. Shen Mingfei's answer was the same as Han Sanqian's, which meant that Han Sanqian was not lying. After a while, Su Chen turned his eyes to the central control screen. He couldn't waste a month's time. He could take advantage of this time to kill all the zombies and aliens on Wangshu Island. In addition, he also planned to go to the Spirit Void Island. Chapter 541. Su Chen searched slowly on the control screen, and his gaze finally landed on Spirit Void Island. There was an evil fruit tree on Spirit Void Island. Previously, a vengeful spirit had wanted to harm him. Su Chen hated it so much that his teeth itched. He would not be happy if he did not kill it. Satoshi, go to Spirit Void Island first. Su Chen decided to destroy the evil fruit tree first. Yes. The intelligent war chariot locked onto Spirit Void Island and sped toward it. Spirit Void Island and Prosperous Dawn Island were not very far apart. The intelligent war chariot traveled at full speed. At noon the next day, it was less than a mile away from Spirit Void Island. At this point, Su Chen stopped the intelligent war chariot. The evil fruit tree was, after all, one of the two demonic plants. Not only was it powerful, but its attack methods were also very strange. He did not plan to let the others take the risk. After informing Wu Yang and the others, Su Chen got off the chariot alone and ran straight towards Spirit Void Island. On the surface, it looked like he was alone, but in reality, that was not the case. The pet breeding space had 3 level 6 spiritual pets, especially the flaming phoenix. Its strength was far beyond its peers. Even a level 7 cultivator might not be its match. The moment he entered Spirit Void Island, he saw a desolate scene. There were withered trees and rocks everywhere, and there was a thin layer of gray fog floating in the air. Su Chen took a glance and opened the plant breeding space to communicate with the life fruit tree. Little show, I'm already on Spirit Void Island. Can I find the secret realm if I take out the evil fruit? Master, as long as you take the evil fruit tree, it will automatically guide you to the secret realm, the life fruit tree replied. Su Chen nodded slightly and closed the plant breeding space. He took out the evil fruit tree from his storage bag and placed it in his hand. As soon as the evil fruit tree appeared, it seemed to be pulled by a strange force and flew in a certain direction. Su Chen's mind moved, but he did not stop it. Instead, he followed closely behind the evil fruit tree. After about half an hour, the flying evil fruit tree seemed to have hit an invisible wall and suddenly stopped. Immediately after, a ripple appeared in front of it, and a silver door of light slowly opened. The moment the silver door opened, the evil birth fruit drilled into it and disappeared without a trace. Su Chen hesitated for a moment. When the silver door opened to a certain extent, he also went in. After entering the light gate, Su Chen narrowed his eyes and scanned around. Then he frowned slightly. In his line of sight, the ground around him was littered with skeletons. There were humans, mutant beasts, as well as foreign races. In total, there were more than 1,000 skeletons. About 100 meters away from him stood a gray plant that was more than 10 meters tall. At the center of its trunk was the face of a seductive woman. At this moment, a wicked smile hung on her lips. She sized up Su Chen with great interest and chuckled, "Human, did you accidentally barge in? Or did you find this place intentionally? I'm here to kill you." Su Chen rubbed his nose and sneered. "Kill me?" The seductive woman's face froze for a moment, then she sneered, "Do you know what kind of existence I am? You dare to kill me? You're quite brave." Su Chen walked forward and said, "Aren't you the evil fruit tree? One of the 2 great evil creatures of the monster plant? You actually know where I came from?" The evil fruit tree was shocked. Even in the demon plant continent, very few people knew of its origin. Su Chen was just a human, so how could he know so much? Chapter 542. Su Chen did not say anything else. As he approached the evil fruit tree, a pitch-black battle sword appeared in his hand, and he swept it forward. In an instant, a blue torrent swept forward. Rumble, a thunderous roar rang out from the blue torrent, and a terrifying wave of lightning instantly filled every corner of the secret realm. Thunder-type spells were the nemesis of demons and evil beings. Su Chen's Thunder-type spell was a combination of the Barbarian Divine Thunder and the Ninth Heaven Dazzling Thunder. Coupled with the enchanted Divine Sword, the power of the spell was unparalleled. He used this killer move to avoid unnecessary trouble, and he wanted to kill the evil fruit tree in an instant. What a terrifying Thunder-type spell! On the evil fruit tree, the beautiful woman's expression suddenly changed. However, she did not sit still and wait for her death. After a cold snort, her huge body trembled violently, and thousands of gray leaves left her body and shot forward, forming a huge shield. At the same time, a majestic mind power spread out and attached itself to the shield, forming 2 layers of defense. In the next moment, the blue torrent hit the shield, and an earth-shattering explosion rang out. The entire secret realm trembled. When the whistling sound dissipated, the shield in front of the evil fruit tree had been completely destroyed. However, it had successfully blocked the violent attack of the blue torrent. "It's actually so strong." Seeing this, Su Chen's expression turned serious. After leaving Wangshu Island, his level was no longer suppressed, and he had recovered to level 7. The power of the Thunder-type spell was comparable to that of a level 9 spell, but even so, it did not cause any damage to the evil fruit tree. From this, it could be seen how powerful the evil fruit tree was. "Human, you have successfully angered me. You have the right to be my servant." The evil fruit tree coldly glanced at Su Chen, but the corners of its mouth curved into a strange arc. Suddenly, more than 10 balls of light burst out in front of it. After the colors on them condensed, they turned into more than 10 ferocious-looking people of different races. Moreover, each of them exuded an unusually powerful aura, and they had all reached level 5. High-level wraiths. The corners of Su Chen's mouth twitched slightly, his expression indifferent. If it were anyone else, they would definitely panic in the face of so many wraiths. However, he had the ancient god-fiend body, and these level 5 resentful spirits couldn't hurt him at all. He didn't have to worry about anything at all. "This is your trump card?" That's all you've got? Su Chen sneered. With a move of his feet, he charged towards the evil birth fruit tree at lightning speed. Stop him! The evil birth fruit tree roared. She had seen how strong Su Chen was, and she didn't dare to let Su Chen get close to her. Kikik! More than a dozen wraiths roared and rushed towards Su Chen. The strangest attack of a vengeful spirit was the resentment it emitted, which could confuse its opponent's mind. Other than that, their attack power was not much different from ordinary cultivators. Coincidentally, Su Chen was able to restrain the aura of resentment. As such, he was only facing a dozen or so level 5 cultivators. In the next moment, both sides collided. Accompanied by the sound of bones breaking, more than a dozen wraiths were all killed by Su Chen. What a strong physical body. Also, how can you ignore the aura of resentment? The evil birth fruit tree was shocked, and the corners of its mouth trembled. There are many things you don't know, and you won't have the chance to know. Su Chen sneered, locked onto the evil birth fruit tree, and slashed at it from afar. This time, he released an ice-type spell. A white torrent snaked up, and the surroundings suddenly seemed to have fallen into a world of ice and snow. Chapter 543. You are also an ice-type mage. The evil fruit tree was shocked. Su Chen's physical body was extremely strong, and his lightning-type spells were far superior to those of the same level. This was beyond her imagination. She did not expect Su Chen to be able to cast ice-type spells, and their power was no less than that of lightning-type spells. It was too unbelievable. Faced with such a terrifying ice-type spell, she knew that she would not be able to resist it with her own strength. You forced me to do this. The evil fruit tree gritted her teeth and spat out a golden ball of light. The golden ball was only the size of a fist at first, but it quickly grew bigger. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a 2-meter-tall, middle-aged man with a rugged face, surrounded by golden light. It's not a vengeful spirit. It seems to be a corpse aura. Su Chen did not sense any vengeful aura from the middle-aged man. Instead, he sensed a trace of corpse aura. However, he did not think too much about it. He controlled the ice-type spell and swept it toward the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man did not seem to sense the approaching danger. He stood still and let the white torrent hit him. In the next moment, the white torrent came into contact with the middle-aged man's body and easily froze him into an ice sculpture. So weak! Su Chen was a little confused. The middle-aged man should be a zombie. He originally thought that he would be very strong, but he did not expect to be frozen in one move. What was the point of the evil fruit tree taking him out? Don't be so smug, human. I will show you what despair is next. The evil fruit tree sneered and pointed at the frozen middle-aged man. It said sternly, "Jean Lu, kill this human in front of me for me." As soon as it said that, there was a rumbling sound. The zombie named Jean Lu shook his arms, and all the ice on his body shattered. At the same time, a huge pressure was released from his body. He had reached level 7. A level 7 zombie. Su Chen was a little surprised. This zombie's physical body was so strong that it was the first time he had seen such a strong one. However, at this moment, the level 7 zombie's eyes flashed with a sharp light. Then, it stomped on the ground and rushed towards Su Chen. Before the person arrived, a murderous aura rushed over. Seeing this, Su Chen's fighting spirit surged in his heart. He raised his hand and launched a Pegasus meteor punch. Suddenly, 100 golden fist shadows covered the sky and smashed towards the level 7 zombie. The level 7 zombie turned a blind eye to this. It neither dodged nor defended, and still ferociously rushed towards Su Chen. Bang, 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 the golden fist shadows smashed onto the body of the level 7 zombie, producing a dense collision sound. But what was inconceivable was that the level 7 zombie was not injured in the slightest after receiving such a fierce attack. So strong. Su Chen's eyelids twitched. When the level 7 zombie rushed over, he threw out the combined 5 extremes mountain without hesitation. The combined 5 extremes mountain rapidly expanded while flying, and in the blink of an eye, it became 30 meters tall. It was shining with 5 colors and emitting a strong 5-element magic wave. There was a loud bang. The level 7 zombie was not afraid at all, and it collided with the combined 5 extremes mountain. The combined 5 extremes mountain trembled slightly, and the 5-element magic on it showed signs of collapsing. The level 7 zombie was sent flying more than 10 meters away. After falling to the ground, it struggled for a while and stood up again. Hiss! Seeing that the level 7 zombie didn't suffer much damage, Su Chen took a deep breath. The combined 5 extremes mountain was a divine weapon, and the level 7 zombie could collide with it with just its body. Su Chen was extremely shocked. Chapter 544. You actually have a divine weapon. At the same time, the evil fruit tree exclaimed. Compared to Su Chen's shock, the evil fruit tree was even more shocked. Su Chen was just a young human. Not only was his strength beyond imagination, but he also had a divine weapon. It was too unbelievable. On the other side, Su Chen's mind was spinning. The strength of the level 7 zombie was giving him a lot of pressure. He had to think of a way to get rid of it quickly. However, at this moment, the longevity fruit tree's signal came from the plant dimension. Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. He quickly opened the plant dimension. Little Shou, what's the matter? Master, that zombie is the monster plant powerhouse that brought us here, Senior Jin Gang Lu. The longevity fruit tree quickly replied. What? Su Chen was shocked. Jin Gang Lu was a divine level powerhouse. At this moment, he suddenly realized why a level 7 body was so strong. It turned out that it was a divine level body. However, Su Chen still had many things he did not understand. He continued to ask, Little Shou, isn't Jin Gang Lu a monster plant? Why is it in human form? He had seen many monster plants, from the beginning of the blood plant to the current evil fruit tree. Without exception, they were all in the form of plants. Jin Gang Lu was an exception. This made him feel very strange. The longevity fruit tree explained, as a monster plant, as long as one's cultivation breaks through levels 10, they will transform into human form. Su Chen nodded slightly and asked again, since Jin Gang Lu is a divine level, its strength must be unparalleled. Why did it turn into a zombie? The higher one's cultivation, the stronger their immunity. At the divine level, even the death aura of the undead clan would not be able to do anything to them. The longevity fruit tree guessed. Senior Jin Gang Lu was besieged by many powerhouses, including a few from the undead clan. I suspect that someone from the undead clan has awakened a special ability. Special abilities were very strong. Su Chen had personally experienced it from Flaming Phoenix and Pei Hai. Whether it was Flaming Phoenix's Law of Fire or Pei Hai's Spiritual Energy Sword Condensation Technique, they could pose a certain threat to him. Thus, he agreed with the theory of the longevity fruit tree. Little Shou, the Vajra willow is being controlled by the evil fruit tree. How can we break the connection between them? Su Chen asked. With his current strength, if he used all his means, he had a certain amount of confidence in killing Diamond Willow. However, when he remembered that he had a corpse soul pearl, he gave up on the idea. Through the corpse soul pearl, he could feed a companion zombie. Since King Kong Willow had turned into a zombie, he was the best target. After all, it was a sacred stage expert when it was alive. It would be hard to find a second zombie with such potential even if one had a lantern. The method is very simple. You just need to kill the evil birth fruit tree, the longevity fruit tree replied with certainty. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes lit up. Although the evil-born fruit tree was also very strong, compared to the Vajra willow, it was simply not on the same level. Killing the Vajra willow was troublesome, but killing the evil birth fruit tree was much easier. Alright, then I'll kill the evil birth fruit tree. Su Chen made up his mind and immediately opened the pet rearing space, summoning all 3 of his level 6 spiritual pets. Little Flame, the 3 of you, stop that zombie. Su Chen stretched out his hand and pointed at the Vajra willow. After giving the order, he carried the combined elements of 5 extremes mountain and went straight for the evil-born fruit tree. Flaming Phoenix and the other 2 spiritual pets were only level 6. They were definitely no match for the Vajra Willow, but they should be able to stop it for a while. Roar! The heavenly overlord tortoise was eager to show off. With a roar, it was the first to rush forward. However, it had obviously underestimated the Vajra Willow's strength. Just as it rushed forward, it was sent flying by a punch from the Vajra Willow. Fortunately, its skin was rough and its flesh was thick. This punch was not life-threatening. Even so, a huge crack was still opened on the tortoise shell. Chapter 545. Idiot! Don't fight him head-on. Both of you, support me. The flaming phoenix scolded. She raised her head and spat out a stream of true-life fire toward the steel willow. On the other side, when the evil fruit tree saw that Su Chen had summoned 3 level 6 spiritual pets, one of which was from the sacred demon tribe, its expression became extremely serious. However, at this moment, Su Chen had already rushed to the front of the evil fruit tree. In order to end the battle quickly, he used the Atlas shapeshifting skill and raised his cultivation level to level 8, which was 1 level higher than the evil fruit tree. Seeing that Su Chen had transformed into a 30-meter-tall giant and was emitting a violent aura, the evil fruit tree turned pale and its mouth trembled. At this moment, it clearly felt that death was approaching. It also understood that if it wanted to live, it could only wait for the steel willow to save it. The only thing it could do was to stall for time. However, Su Chen would not give it the chance to do so. As soon as he came, he smashed the combined elements of 5 Extremes Mountain. After breaking through the evil fruit tree's spiritual energy defense, he entered and released his spiritual energy. His cultivation level had reached level 8, and the spiritual energy he released was comparable to that of a level 9 spiritual energy. He easily trapped the evil fruit tree. A pitch-black longsword appeared out of thin air and slashed down at the evil fruit tree. All of a sudden, the void vibrated, and a black vortex, about 10 feet in size, appeared above the evil birth fruit tree. Space Sacred Weapon. The evil fruit tree's huge body trembled violently, and its heart was filled with despair. Go to hell. Su Chen held the Chaos Skysplitter sword with both hands and slashed down. Rumble, the void seemed to shatter, and there was an ear-piercing explosion. Then, the black vortex spun and landed on the evil fruit tree. No, the evil-born fruit tree let out a despairing roar as it watched its body being torn apart. When the evil fruit tree's life force completely disappeared, the remaining half of its body fell to the ground. Suddenly, hundreds of colorful shards appeared, but they were quickly collected by themselves. Su Chen did not check it immediately. Instead, he quickly turned around and looked behind him. When he saw the flaming phoenix and the dark sky overlord tortoise lying on the ground injured and the super ancient devouring adamantine mosquito in Vajra Willow's hand, he thought to himself, that was close. Following the death of the evil birth fruit tree, the diamond willow seemed to have fallen into a daze and stopped its actions. Su Chen could foresee that the super ancient devouring adamantine mosquito would have been crushed if the killing of the evil fruit tree had been delayed for even a moment. Master, Steel Willow will only be in a state of confusion for a short period of time. After that, he will completely turn into a zombie. You have to hurry. The life origin fruit tree knew that Su Chen wanted to subdue the diamond willow and hurriedly reminded him. Su Chen came back to his senses and quickly dripped a drop of his blood essence onto the corpse's soul pearl and fed it to the diamond willow. The blood-red color in Vajra Willow's eyes retreated in the blink of an eye and was replaced with gentleness. After a few breaths, Vajra Willow looked at Su Chen and called out respectfully. Su Chen felt very comfortable when he heard Vajra Willow call him Master, and the corners of his mouth curled up. After subduing such a powerful zombie, his overall strength had undoubtedly increased by a large margin. After a while, Su Chen kept the Vajra Willow in the pet-raising space. He turned to the flaming phoenix and the dark sky overlord tortoise and asked with concern, "Are the two of you seriously injured?" Chapter 546. Master, I'm not seriously injured, but the big tortoise was almost killed. The flaming phoenix slowly got up from the ground and glanced at the heavenly overlord tortoise. Su Chen turned to look at the heavenly overlord tortoise, only to see that half of its shell had been shattered. It was lying on the ground and groaning in pain. "Xiao Ba, are you all right?" Su Chen clicked his tongue and asked. The heavenly overlord tortoise raised its head and gritted its teeth. "Don't worry, master. I won't die." "Don't worry, my ass." Su Chen rolled his eyes at it. It was already beaten up like this, but it was still stubborn in front of him. However, they were all his spiritual pets. He could not bear to see the heavenly overlord tortoise suffer, so he took out a few bottles of healing potion and distributed them to his 3 spiritual pets. After they consumed the healing potion, their injuries healed at a speed that was visible to the naked eye. Su Chen breathed a sigh of relief and kept the 3 spiritual pets in the pet breeding space. Then he walked to the corpse of the evil fruit tree and looked at it. Every demon plant had a demon nucleus in its body. Su Chen had obtained one from the blood plant and one from the abyss black poria. The demon core was very useful for the intelligent war chariot. It had helped the intelligent war chariot develop 2 functions. One was the automatic recovery function, and the other was the ability to check one's cultivation level. Therefore, he would not let go of the demon core on the evil fruit tree. Later, he rummaged through the evil fruit tree and finally found a black demon core the size of a basketball. After putting it in the storage bag, Su Chen connected with the longevity fruit tree again. "Little show, is the corpse of the evil fruit tree useful to you?" The abyss black poria that he had killed before was regarded as the top nourishment to help the essence fruit tree bear fruit quickly. The level of the evil fruit tree was higher than the abyss black poria. Could it provide more energy? "Master, although the corpse of the evil fruit tree contains energy, it is also mixed with resentment. Once it is absorbed, it is easy to go insane," the longevity fruit tree replied. "So it's useless?" Su Chen was slightly disappointed. If used together with his Yao core, he can create a puppet that is similar to a vengeful spirit, the longevity fruit tree quickly said. Su Chen shook his head and asked, "Is there any other use for the demon core of the evil-born fruit tree?" Although the vengeful spirit was not weak, even if it was level 6, he did not take it seriously. The longevity fruit tree thought for a moment and replied, "It can also be used to forge weapons. Furthermore, the weapons forged will contain a trace of evil power, which can easily confuse the opponent's mind." "Do you know the forging method?" Su Chen suddenly moved. Ordinary people couldn't use the weapons he created, but the mechanical soldier was a puppet, so he could use it. This way, the combat power of the mechanical soldiers could be greatly increased. "Master, I don't know how to forge it. Even if I did, I would need some top-notch blacksmiths to forge it," the longevity fruit tree replied. Su Chen nodded and stopped thinking about it. After a while, he left the Spirit Void Island. Unexpectedly, when he returned to the sea, he did not find any trace of the intelligent war chariot. Su Chen was instantly shocked, and his thoughts quickly turned. Without his orders, the intelligent war chariot would not leave without his permission. There were only 2 possibilities for such a situation to occur. First, the intelligent war chariot had encountered danger and escaped. Second, it had been captured. Chapter 547. However, the intelligent war chariot was in its level 6 form, and with the mechanical soldier, even a level 7 cultivator could not do anything to it. Then what exactly happened? Su's heart was burning with anxiety. He leaped into the air and looked around. Although he did not see the intelligent war chariot, he could faintly hear an explosive sound. "It's the sound of a torpedo explosion." Su Chen's expression changed. He suspected that the intelligent war chariot had discovered the sea demon beasts and went to kill them. However, the possibility of that was very small. After all, the intelligent war chariot's ability to execute was very strong. Without receiving his orders, it would not leave easily. Su Chen did not think too much about it. He activated the rapid war boots and quickly ran in the direction of the explosion. After running for more than 10 miles, the intelligent war chariot finally appeared in his line of sight. However, it was now in a very dangerous situation. It was being chased by a small wooden boat. The speed of the small wooden boat was obviously faster than the intelligent war chariot. Fortunately, the intelligent war chariot had the invisibility function. Through invisibility from time to time, it could escape from the opponent's hands. "You're courting death." Su Chen's face was as gloomy as water. Someone actually wanted to snatch the intelligent war chariot. This was something he could not allow. He had already treated the people on the small wooden boat as dead people. In the next moment, Su Chen descended from the sky. When he flew above the small wooden boat, he raised his hand and threw out a Pegasus meteor punch. There was only a white-haired old man in black clothes on the small wooden boat. When he saw the sky full of fist shadows flying over, he frowned slightly and casually shot out a wind blade. The wind blade left his hand and spread out in the wind. It turned into 100 feet and collided with the dense fist shadows. Bang, bang, bang. After a series of explosive sounds, the wind blade and fist shadows were destroyed at the same time. "Saint level? No, you're clearly only level 7. How can you fly?" The white-haired old man looked at Su Chen with interest and exclaimed softly. As everyone knew, humans did not have the ability to fly. In order to fly, one had to reach the saint level and be able to communicate with the power of heaven and earth. On the other hand, Su Chen was only level 7, but he was able to hover in the air like a saint. This made the white-haired old man very surprised. Su Chen ignored him and jumped onto the intelligent war chariot. "Su Chen." "Chengu." Seeing that Su Chen had arrived in time, everyone in the car was pleasantly surprised. "What happened?" Su Chen narrowed his eyes and glanced around. Seeing that no one was injured, he heaved a sigh of relief. "Chengu, that old bastard wanted to rob your MCV. We couldn't beat him, so we had to run away." Yang Hao pointed at the white-haired old man and explained angrily. After figuring out what was going on, Su Chen abruptly turned around and stared at the white-haired old man with a bone-chilling gaze. It was conceivable that if he had not arrived in time, the intelligent war chariot might have been damaged. And the people in the car would also be in danger. Therefore, no matter what, the white-haired old man must die today. "Boy, seeing that you have good talent, how about this old man give you an opportunity?" Sensing the hostility in Su Chen's eyes, the white-haired old man did not care and said with a chuckle. Su Chen curled his lips and snorted softly. "Tell me about it." The other party was a level 8 wind magician. This level of powerhouse was very rare. He wanted to figure out the origin of the other party, so he was not in a hurry to make a move. Chapter 548. Before that, let me introduce myself. The white-haired old man cleared his throat and said proudly, "I'm from the Barbarian Shrine and I'm an elder of the Barbarian Shrine." The Barbarian Shrine was the most powerful force in the mysterious heavenly mainland aside from the Saint region. Not only did they have a few level 9 cultivators, but they also had a level 10 powerhouse. If it were anyone else, they would be in awe when they heard about the Barbarian Shrine. However, Su Chen scoffed. As long as there was no martial sage, no one could threaten him. "Why don't you tell me about your opportunity?" Su Chen pursed his lips and said casually. Seeing that Su Chen was not shocked, the white-haired old man thought that Su Chen was ignorant and had not heard of the Barbarian Shrine. Then, he said in a low voice, "I can take you in as my last disciple." Actually, taking him in as a disciple was just a cover. His main goal was the intelligent war chariot and Su Chen's secret technique of flying. In his opinion, as long as he took Su Chen in as his disciple, these things would belong to him sooner or later. Su Chen shook his head and said disdainfully, "You think too highly of yourself. You want to take me in as your disciple? Do you have the right to do so?" The white-haired old man's face turned cold when he heard this. As an elder of the Barbarian Shrine, he had a high status. When had he ever been looked down upon like this? "Kid, it's your honor to be my disciple. Don't be so shameless." The white-haired old man narrowed his eyes and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Su Chen's condescending attitude already made him give birth to killing intent. If Su Chen did not know what was good for him, he would kill Su Chen. "There's something I need to remind you. Not only will you not be able to escape death, but you'll also bring trouble to the barbarian shrine. Suchen said as he rubbed his nose. You want to kill me? You want to go against the barbarian shrine? The white-haired old man was stunned for a moment. Then he laughed wildly. Kid, is there something wrong with your head? In his eyes, Suchen was only a level 7 cultivator. So what if he was a little strange? Could he be a match for him? Therefore, he completely treated Suchen's words as the boasting of an idiot. Suchen snorted coldly. He didn't want to waste any more words with him. He jumped up and charged toward the old man. You're courting death. The white-haired old man flew into a rage. Suchen actually dared to take the initiative to attack. This meant that he didn't put him in his eyes. This kind of behavior was no different from courting death. Without any hesitation, he raised his hand and shot out a wind blade, vowing to kill Suchen in one blow. Suchen didn't try to dodge the incoming wind blade. Instead, his palm glowed with a golden light as he reached out to grab it. What is he trying to do? The white-haired old man was deeply puzzled. His wind blade was a level 8 spell. How could Suchen catch it with his bare hands? Was he tired of living? However, Suchen had already caught the wind blade and pulled it out with force. There was a loud boom. The wind blade was torn apart and dissipated. Seeing this, the white-haired old man's mouth trembled. His heart was in turmoil. Since when did a level 8 spell become so weak? Just how strong was this young man's physical body? A level 8 wind blade is just SOS. Suchen sneered. Then his face turned cold. He said sternly, "Let me show you what a real spell is." As soon as he finished speaking, he held the blade with both hands and slashed at the white-haired old man. Crack! Accompanied by a thunderous roar, a blue torrent that contained terrifying lightning ripples swept forward. Chapter 549. Thunder-type sorcery. How is that possible? The white-haired old man's expression changed drastically. He already found it unbelievable that Suchen was a Dharma psychic. He did not expect the thunder-type sorcery to be comparable to a level 9 one. It was a huge blow to his psyche. At this critical moment, he did not sit still and wait for his death. He quickly took out a gray gem, held it in his hand, and shot out another wind blade. Compared to the previous wind blade, the color of this wind blade was obviously deeper, and the power it contained was also higher. Even if it was not a level 9 sorcery, it was not far off. In the next moment, the blue torrent and the wind blade collided violently. Accompanied by a thunderous explosion, the wind blade lasted for a while before it was shattered. The blue torrent was also weakened, but it still swept towards the white-haired old man. Sizzle! The white-haired old man was quickly engulfed by the lightning. After a huge tremor, he fell to the ground powerlessly. At this moment, his skin and flesh were lacerated, and his flesh was mangled. Although he was not dead, he was severely injured and was reduced to a useless piece of trash. Suchen squinted his eyes, landed on the small wooden boat, and walked slowly towards the white-haired old man. "Senior, don't kill me. I'll exchange a secret for my life." The white-haired old man gritted his teeth and begged with a trembling voice. "What secret can a useless piece of trash like you have? Do you think I'm interested in it?" Suchen was unmoved. With a flip of his palm, a scorching fireball formed. "Senior, I know the whereabouts of the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree." Seeing that Suchen was about to attack, the white-haired old man hurriedly said, "The 5 Thunder Fruit Tree." Suchen's expression changed, and his heart beat violently. The 5 Thunder Fruit Tree was a sacred item of the demon plant lineage. It was a spiritual item of the same level as the Longevity Fruit Tree and the Essence Fruit Tree. He naturally coveted such a treasure. However, he learned from Meng Sheng that the 5 Thunder Fruit came from the miasma. He also suspected that the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree was hidden in the miasma. However, since the white-haired old man said that he had found traces of the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree, it meant that the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree was not hidden in the miasma. In this case, he had a great chance of getting the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree. However, was what the white-haired old man said true? That would require further investigation. "How did you discover the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree?" Su Chen stared at the white-haired old man and asked without batting an eyelid. Someone called Bai Zhe once exchanged a 5 thunder fruit with our barbarian divine temple, the white-haired elder hurriedly said. Hearing this, Su Chen fell into deep thought. Having the 5 thunder fruit did not mean that one had the 5 thunder fruit tree. Meng Sheng was an example. But no matter what, since Bai Zhe had the 5 thunder fruit, they would definitely be able to find some clues from him. So you're here to capture Bai Zhe? Su Chen asked. Yes. The white-haired old man nodded. Then how can you be sure that the 5 thunder fruit tree is with Bai Zhe? Su Chen continued to ask. We are only guessing. After all, the 5 thunder fruit can only be obtained from the 5 thunder fruit tree. The white-haired elder replied honestly. Where is Bai Zhe? Su Chen asked coldly. Bai Zhe was the key to finding the 5 thunder fruit tree. This person must be found. Senior, can you spare my life if I tell you? The white-haired old man knew that if he wanted to live, he could only rely on this. I can give you a quick death. Su Chen's face was icy cold. What he hated the most was others bargaining with him. Those who bargained with him in the past did not have a good ending. Chapter 550. Since I'm going to die anyway, why should I tell you? The white-haired old man sneered. I hope you don't regret this. Su Chen pursed his lips and instantly released his mind energy to crush the white-haired old man. Not only did he know how to kill, but he also knew many ways to torture people. He wanted to see how long the white-haired old man could keep his mouth shut. Crack! Under the pressure of the mind energy, the white-haired old man's body began to deform slowly as his bones broke. The white-haired old man let out a painful roar as his entire face twisted. If you don't tell me, I'll torture you slowly. A cruel smile appeared on Su Chen's lips. After holding on for a while, the white-haired old man finally broke down and shouted, Senior, I'll tell you. If you knew this was going to happen, why did you have to suffer? Su Chen pursed his lips and reduced the intensity of his mind energy to give the white-haired old man a chance to breathe. Bai Zhe is most likely on Wangshu Island. The white-haired old man said without hesitation this time. Su Chen frowned slightly and said in surprise, Didn't you come from the teleportation formation on Wangshu Island? The nearest teleportation formation around here was the one on Wangshu Island. However, since he was sure that Bai Zhe was on Wangshu Island, there was no need for him to come here. Therefore, he suspected that the white-haired old man might have left the mysterious heavenly mainland from another teleportation formation. I entered from the teleportation formation on Chongshu Island, the white-haired old man replied honestly. There was indeed a teleportation formation on Chongshu Island. This was something he had learned from Han Sanqian. After making sure that the white-haired old man was not lying, Su Chen continued to ask, How are you so sure that Bai Zhe is hiding on Wangshu Island? The white-haired old man explained. Bai Zhe exchanged for a wooden boat from our wildland shrine. There was a special aura on the wooden boat, and I followed this aura all the way here. However, the aura of the wooden boat suddenly disappeared when I was near Wangshu Island. Therefore, I suspected that Bai Zhe had entered Wangshu Island. It seems that he's most likely on Wangshu Island. Su Chen muttered to himself as he casually blew up the white-haired old man's head. After that, he searched the white-haired old man's body and got a gray gem. Then, he returned to the intelligent chariot. Satoshi, return to Wangshu Island. Su Chen immediately gave the order. When the intelligent war chariot picked up speed, he took out the demonic core of the evil-born fruit tree and the gray gem and began to communicate with the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, are these 2 items useful to you? Master, if you let me install that demon core, I can develop a new function, the Curtain of Darkness. Su Chen's expression changed as he asked anxiously, what are its specific uses? The intelligent war chariot explained, the dark sky curtain is actually an effect of the combination of illusion and formation. It can create a black fog within a 1-kilometer radius. Once one falls into it, not only will it affect one's vision, it will also cause one to hallucinate and lose one's mind. However, The dark sky curtain's effect is more obvious on low-level opponents. Its effect on high-level opponents is negligible. Su Chen immediately lost interest in the dark sky curtain. With his strength, the opponents he encountered in the future would only become stronger and stronger. Since the dark sky curtain was not of much use, he might as well keep it to forge weapons. What about this gem? Su Chen asked. This is a wind spirit stone. It can increase one's speed and the power of wind-type magic. However, the energy of this wind spirit stone is almost exhausted, so it's not of much use. Chapter 551. Su Chen shook his head and put the demon core and wind spiritual stone into his storage bag. He sat in the driver's seat and looked at the central control screen. After a glance, he called Shin Mengfei to his side and asked, "On Wangshu Island, which place is closest to the miasma?" Considering that Meng Xing had obtained the 5 thunder fruit in the miasma, he suspected that Bai Zhe had also entered the miasma. There was a place on Wangshu Island that was connected to the miasma. If one wanted to enter the miasma, it was most suitable to enter from the connected place. Senior, Songmin City in the northwest corner of Wangshu Island is not far from the miasma. However, that place is under the influence of the zombies and the undead, Shin Mengfei replied. Su Chen's next plan was to eliminate the aliens and zombies on Wangshu Island. This way it would be done once and for all. Okay, I got it. Su Chen nodded and began to close his eyes to rest. When the intelligent war chariot returned to Wangshu Island, Su Chen looked at the central control screen again. After confirming the specific location of Songmin City, he let the intelligent war chariot plan the fastest route to reach it and drove there. On the way, Su Chen did not stay idle. His eyes never left the central control screen. If there were alien lairs along the way, he wanted to eliminate them along the way. When the intelligent war chariot passed by a place called 9 Great Mountain, hundreds of black dots were displayed on the central control screen. Seeing this, Su Chen was slightly moved and asked Shin Mengfei, "Which foreign tribe's force is 9 Peaks Mountain under?" "It should be the Qing clan," Shin Mengfei thought for a moment and replied. "Qing clan," Su Chen muttered, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. A few days ago, a level 8 evolver from the Qing clan chased after him, but he killed him instead. Later on, he also killed people from the Qing clan in Han Sanqian's mansion. It could be said that the grudge between him and the Qing clan was quite deep. Since he had encountered them, he naturally had to eliminate them. "Satoshi, lock onto these Qingshi clansmen and observe their cultivation," Su Chen instructed. "Master, the strongest among them are 4 level 5 cultivators. The rest are cultivators below level 4, the intelligent war chariot replied. "Satoshi, head to Mount Jiuwei," Su Chen ordered. "Yes." The intelligent war chariot locked onto the 9-towered mountain and sped towards it. "Chen Ge, is the opponent strong? Can we do it?" Yang Hao and the other 2 gathered around Su Chen. Recently, they had not fought for a long time, and their hands were itching to fight. "You can do it." Su Chen smiled. Other than a few level 5 cultivators, the rest of the Qing clan were just small fries. It wasn't impossible for Yang Hao and the other 2 to train them. After receiving Su Chen's reply, Yang Hao and the other 2 became excited. An hour later, the intelligent war chariot arrived at the 9-towered mountain. A medium-sized city was built at the foot of the 9-towered mountain, and the Qing clan members were holed up in this city. "Satoshi, give him a few shots." When they were less than 100 meters away from the city, Su Chen ordered. "Yes." The intelligent war chariot controlled the pulse cannon and fired 5 shots consecutively. Bang, bang, bang. After the 5 explosions, there was a commotion in the city. Soon, a large group of Qing clan members rushed out. In the blink of an eye, the number had reached 500. Almost all of the Qing clan members had rushed out. Su Chen was very happy to see this. With the opponents gathered together, it would be easier to catch them all in one fell swoop. Chapter 552. Shin Mengfei, stay here. The rest of you, follow me out of the car. Su Chen said and got out of the car first. In the future, when he found the primordial spirit-shaping fruit tree, he would let Shen Mengfei go. Therefore, he did not bind the soldier recruitment system to her. Therefore, the foreign tribesmen that Shen Mengfei killed would not drop fragments. Yang Hao and the others followed closely behind Su Chen and got out of the car. Shen Mengfei stayed in the car obediently. "Who are you people? How dare you come to our Qing clan's territory and behave so atrociously? Do you not want to live anymore?" A tall and ugly Qing clan member walked forward and shouted after glancing at Su Chen and the others. Before Su Chen could say anything, he saw a skinny Qing stone clansman walk in front of the ugly Qing stone clansman and murmur a few words. Hearing this, the ugly Qing clan member's expression suddenly changed. Then, he turned to Su Chen and said respectfully, "Senior, our Qing clan has not offended you." He had just received news that a group of level 6 foreign tribesmen had been killed in Tianwang City a few days ago. And the culprit was this young human in front of him. In the face of such a terrifying existence like Su Chen, he could not summon any thoughts of resistance. He could only lower himself and speak nicely to Su Chen. Su Chen pursed his lips. "A level 8 evolver from your Qing clan has offended me, so you all have to die." After saying this, he summoned the Dark Sky Overlord Turtle and the super ancient devouring titanium mosquito. He stretched out his hand and ordered, "Kill them." The two level 6 spiritual pets received the order and charged forward together. At the same time, the mechanical soldiers, Wu Yang, and the others attacked together. The Qing clan members naturally would not sit still and wait for death. They gathered their courage and charged forward crazily. Su Chen stood where he was and had no intention of attacking. The other party was too weak. The two spiritual pets and the mechanical soldiers were enough to deal with them. As the killing went on, more than half of the Qing clan members had died. Most of them were killed by the two spirit pets. Even a few level 5 members of the Qingshi clan were not spared. Just as Su Chen was about to check the fragments that were automatically collected, he suddenly realized that the mechanical soldier was sent flying more than 10 meters away by a single punch from a fat man. What powerful strength! Su Chen was slightly moved. This mechanical soldier was a level 6 puppet. Even if its cultivation level was suppressed, it still had the strength of a level 5 puppet. With its combat power, it was enough to fight against an average level 6 cultivator. On the other hand, the fat man was only a level 5 evolver, but his strength was incomparably great. Su Chen felt that it was much stronger than a level 7 evolver, which was very unusual. After the fat man smashed the mechanical soldier away, he did not continue to fight. Instead, he tried to sneak away from this place. Since Su Chen had discovered him, how could he let him escape? Su Chen activated the rapid combat boots. His figure blurred, and he instantly disappeared from where he was. When he reappeared, he was already in front of the fat man and released his mental strength to envelop him. The fat man felt an invisible force pressing down on him. His face darkened slightly, and then he burst out with a violent force. He pulled outwards with both hands and actually tore apart Su Chen's mental strength. Su Chen raised his eyebrows and let out a soft sound of surprise. The other party's strength was even higher than he had guessed. However, this aroused his interest even more. He flew forward, activated the Heavenly Hundredfold Vigor technique, and grabbed at the fat man. Chapter 553. You're courting death. The fat man sneered. Instead of retreating, he clenched his fist and punched at Su Chen. Bang! In the next moment, when the fist and the palm met, the two huge forces collided violently and made a dull sound of collision. The fat man could only hold on for less than a breath's time before his body shook violently. Then he was slammed to the ground by Su Chen's palm and half of his body was embedded in the soil. "Why is your strength so great?" The fat man was horrified and shouted. All along, he had been most proud of his own strength. In the past, when he fought with his enemies, he usually relied on his advantage of strength to crush his opponents. It could be said that he had never been at a disadvantage and had never met a worthy opponent. However, Su Chen's appearance showed him what true strength was. In front of Su Chen, he had no strength to fight back. This made him feel incomparably incredulous. Su Chen squinted his eyes and glanced at the fat man. Then he opened the planting space and communicated with the longevity fruit tree. Xiao Shou, feel it. Has this guy swallowed the power fruit? The fat man's strength was so great that it was almost the same as the heavenly overlord turtle. This situation was very strange, and it made him wonder if the fat man had swallowed the power fruit, which caused his strength to increase greatly. Master, he has not swallowed the power fruit, but he has swallowed the demonic core of the power fruit tree. The longevity fruit tree said with a trembling voice. What? Su Chen's face suddenly became unusually cold. The demonic core of the power fruit tree had been swallowed. Did this mean that the power fruit tree was done for? When he first heard about the power fruit, he had planned to take the power fruit tree for himself. However, the result made him feel extremely disappointed and infuriated. Xiao Shou, is there no hope for the power fruit tree? Su Chen took a deep breath and calmed himself down. The demonic core of the power fruit tree has not been completely absorbed. If you can find the tree of life, you can use the juice of the fruit of life to revive it, the longevity fruit tree explained. Hearing this, Su Chen's expression changed. He then blasted the fat man's body with a punch, and soon found a peanut-sized demon core from a pile of flesh. Xiao Shou, is this the demonic core of the fruit of strength? Su Chen placed the demon core in front of the longevity fruit tree and asked nervously. Master, this is the demon core of the strength fruit tree. Although it is very weak, it still has a trace of life aura. The longevity fruit tree replied with certainty. Su Chen heaved a sigh of relief and said, I'll leave the demon nucleus of the power fruit tree with you for safekeeping. The strength fruit tree and the longevity fruit tree both belonged to the monster plant lineage. It should be better to put it with the longevity fruit tree than in the storage bag. Master, don't worry. I will definitely take good care of it. The longevity fruit tree promised. Su Chen nodded and closed the plant dimension. We should have killed him earlier. Su Chen sighed faintly after glancing at the fat man's flesh. Just now, because he was too anxious, he didn't think much and killed the fat man. As a result, many clues were cut off, which made him very frustrated. However, since the truth had already come to this, there was no point in dwelling on it. Su Chen collected his thoughts and looked at the battlefield. At this time, the people of the Qing Stone tribe were almost completely slaughtered. Only a few of them were left, and they were being besieged by Yang Hao and the others. What surprised Su Chen was that Tan Lin and the other two women were also besieged. Chapter 554. Tan Lin and the other two had always relied on the pulse pistol to fight their enemies. It was rare for them to be in close combat. However, that was what Su Chen wanted to see. Only by increasing their own strength could they survive the apocalypse. After all of the Qingshi clan members were killed, Su Chen called for everyone to get into the car and continue their journey to the location of the zombies. On the way, Su Chen sat in the driver's seat and began to organize the fragments that he had obtained. Recently, the fragments that he had obtained were not of high quality. Most of them had been exchanged for energy points. The total number of energy points he had obtained was more than 2,000. After counting the fragments, Su Chen communicated with the intelligent war chariot. Satoshi, didn't you activate the flying function? Why are you still running on the ground? In his opinion, flying in the sky would definitely be faster. At most, it would just consume more energy stones. The total number of energy stones he had now was already an astronomical figure. No matter how much energy he consumed, he would not mind. The intelligent war chariot explained, Master, I can fly, but the speed of flying is far slower than driving on the ground. Su Chen frowned slightly. If the speed did not increase but decreased, the flying function would be useless. Is there any way to increase the flying speed? Su Chen asked, unwilling to give up. If you can install 10 wind spiritual stones, the flying speed can be increased by 10 times, the intelligent war chariot replied. Su Chen's eyes lit up. The intelligent war chariot's speed was 500 miles per hour. If it was increased by 10 times, it would become 5,000 miles per hour. Then, if he wanted to go to a place in the future, would he not be able to reach it in the blink of an eye? It seems like there's a need to make a trip to the barbarian shrine, Su-Chen muttered to himself. Previously, he had found a wind spiritual stone on the white-haired old man in the barbarian shrine. He guessed that the barbarian shrine would have other wind spiritual stones. Initially, he only planned to go to the Feng-Shi dynasty to look for the primordial spirit sculpting fruit tree. However, the recent events had forced him to go to the other two major forces, the Holy Empire and the barbarian shrine. Out of the 4 top forces in the mysterious heavenly mainland, the Forgotten Autumn Mountain was the only one he was unfamiliar with. Who knows, I might encounter something later on. I'll have to make a trip to Autumn Forgotten Mountain. Su-Chen had this thought. After a while, he stopped thinking about it and closed his eyes to rest. For the rest of the time, the intelligent war chariot galloped all the way without being obstructed at all. On the 5th day, the intelligent war chariot slowly arrived in front of Tsangming City. The scale of Tsangming City was about the same as King Kong City. It was also the nest of the zombies and the undead. Through the central control screen, Su-Chen discovered that the number of zombies in Tsangming City was uncountable. Their numbers had probably reached 100,000, reaching the level of a medium-sized zombie wave. The total number of zombies Su-Chen had killed in the past was definitely more than 100,000. However, it was the first time that they had encountered 100,000 zombies at once. In addition to the zombies, there were also hundreds of aliens in Tsangming City. According to the old rules, before killing the zombies and aliens, they had to first determine their cultivation level to prevent them from failing miserably. Satoshi, what's the highest level of the zombies and aliens in Tsangming City? More than 10 seconds later, the intelligent war chariot replied, Master, we've discovered a total of 10 level 6 cultivators and dozens of level 5 cultivators. So many? Su-Chen frowned and exclaimed softly. He was not afraid. With his current strength, he was confident that he could kill all of them even if there were twice as many of them. He just felt that it was strange. Previously, he had killed many aliens in Han Sanxian's mansion, including several level 6 ones. Logically speaking, there should not be so many level 6 cultivators on Wangshu Island. Chapter 555. Satoshi, are those 10 level 6 cultivators from the undead clan? Su-Chen asked. He now suspected that there was a realm passage leading to the undead clan in Tsangming City. Otherwise, there would not be so many level 6 cultivators. Master, there are 3 undead clan members, 2 rock clan members, 1 zombie, 1 human, and 3 Protoss, the intelligent war chariot replied. So many races? Su-Chen was stunned. With so many level 6 cultivators from so many races mixed together, did that not mean that all the high-level cultivators on Wangshu Island were gathered here? What was their purpose? Could it be that they were waiting for him? Satoshi, lock onto this group of people and zoom in on the image, Su-Chen ordered. He wanted to see who this group of people was. Master, they are in a special space. We can't transmit the image. We can only sense their aura. Su-Chen's brows furrowed slightly. This kind of thing was very strange. Coupled with the gathering of level 6 cultivators from several races, he vaguely felt that the other party was plotting something. However, he did not pay too much attention to it. In the face of true strength, no matter what kind of conspiracy, it would not be able to withstand a single blow. Chen Ge, the zombies are coming out. However, at this moment, Yang Hao reminded him. Su-Chen narrowed his eyes and looked outside. As expected, he saw a large number of zombies surging out of Tsangming City. In the blink of an eye, there were already tens of thousands of them. It was a black mass that stretched as far as the eye could see. It gave off a heavy sense of oppression. Seeing this scene, the expressions of Yang Qian and the other girls changed. Yang Hao and the other 2 were not as eager as before. Su-Chen, how many zombies are there? Wu Yang walked to Su-Chen's side and asked in a low voice. About 100,000, Su-Chen said in a low voice. Hiss! Everyone gasped in unison. 100,000 was already at the level of a medium-sized zombie tide. In the past, they had never fought with so many zombies. They could not help but feel a little nervous. "Don't get out of the car yet," Suchin reminded them. There were simply too many high-level cultivators on the other side. Wu Yang and the others did not have a high cultivation base to begin with. On top of that, their cultivation bases had been suppressed. If they were to engage in a fight with the other party, they would easily be injured. Wu Yang nodded in agreement. "Su Chen, be careful," Tan Lin said worriedly. If it was in the past, no matter who Su Chen faced, she would not be worried at all. But today, for some reason, she felt very uneasy, as if something was going to happen. "Don't worry, it's just a motley crew." Su Chen comforted her with a smile and got out of the car with the mechanical soldier. With his current strength, coupled with his 2 trump cards, the Flaming Phoenix and the Diamond Willow, what could the other party do? Seeing that the zombies didn't attack him immediately, Su Chen walked straight ahead. When he was less than 100 meters away from the other party, he stopped. But at this time, the zombie tide retreated to both sides like a tide. Soon, 10 men appeared. Su Chen squinted his eyes and scanned the front. When his eyes fell on a thin man, his expression suddenly froze. Hee, the thin man smiled gloomily, and a strange arc appeared on the corner of his mouth. He said with a faint smile, "Su Chen, long time no see. Li Liang, you're still alive." Su Chen opened his mouth slightly, and his face was filled with disbelief. The thin man in front of him was indeed Li Liang. To be more precise, it was Li Liang who had turned into a zombie. Chapter 556. However, Li Liang had clearly been turned into a human stick by him, and one of his eyes had been taken out. It was a miracle that he was still alive. Now, not only had he survived, but his limbs and eyes had also recovered. What was even stranger was that the aura Li Liang was emitting indicated that he had reached level 6. This was too inconceivable. Li Liang was just an ordinary person back then. How could he have reached level 6 in such a short time? "Su Chen, are you surprised?" Li Liang stared at Su Chen and sneered, "Speaking of which, I have to thank you. If you didn't turn me into a zombie, I wouldn't have known that I was so talented." Speaking of this, his face turned ferocious. He gritted his teeth and said, "The humiliation you brought me, I will return it back to you. And your friends, I won't let any of them go. I want you to watch them die in front of your eyes." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Liang laughed wantonly as if he had gone mad. Su Chen rubbed his nose and sneered, "If I can torture you once, I can torture you a second time. And this time, I will make you disappear from this world completely." A mere level 6 zombie dared to boast in front of him. What a joke! Arrogant! Li Liang shouted angrily and waved his hand. "Kill him!" Suddenly, 3 level 6 undead clan members rushed toward Su Chen. The undead clan members were Li Liang's subordinates? Following Li Liang's orders? Although Su Chen was confused, he didn't think too much about it. As the 3 undead clan members rushed over, he raised his hand and used the Pegasus Meteor Punch. Bang, bang, bang. In a series of explosions, the 3 undead clan members were smashed to the ground. Their bones were all broken. Although they were not dead, they were breathing heavily. It seemed that they wouldn't survive. "Is that all you've got?" Su Chen curled his lips and looked at Li Liang. "You're still as strong as ever. However, no matter how powerful you are, you will still die in my hands today." Li Liang's face darkened slightly. Then he raised both of his hands and a ball of gray light shot out. It flew into the air and split into 3, entering the bodies of 3 undead clansmen. Su Chen did not understand what was going on, but he was surprised to find that after the 3 undead clan members absorbed the gray light, their life auras rose, and their injuries healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, his aura reached its peak, and his injuries were healed. "Ah, Su Chen, do you know how powerful I am now?" Li Liang laughed wildly. "Healing body?" Su Chen muttered. The body of healing could heal one's injuries in a short period of time, but no matter how strong it was, it could only heal oneself. It was unheard of for someone to be able to heal others like Li Liang. Kill him. When the 3 undead clan members had completely recovered, Li Liang gave the order to kill Su Chen again. Kill! The 3 undead clan members roared and charged towards Su Chen without hesitation. Su Chen narrowed his eyes, and a pitch-black battle saber appeared in his hand. When the 3 undead clan members were close to him, he swung the saber. In an instant, a blue torrent swept forward. There was a loud boom. The 3 undead clansmen exploded at the same time under the ravaging of the lightning spell, turning into ashes. Li Liang, can you still save them? The corner of Su Chen's mouth twitched as he mocked. Chapter 557. Su Chen, today I'll show you what it means to be immortal and indestructible. Li Liang roared into the sky. As his roar fell, his entire body seemed to become illusory and rapidly expanded. In the blink of an eye, he became 1,000 feet tall, like a giant mountain that stood between heaven and earth. After the transformation, Li Liang pushed forward with one hand. Suddenly, a thick gray ray of light shot out from it. It flew into the air and exploded with a loud bang. Then, it turned into a thin mist and slowly drifted down. After a few breaths, the area within a radius of dozens of miles was shrouded by this layer of gray mist. It is Li Liang. Chao Ran, who was in the intelligent war chariot, saw this scene and the corners of his mouth trembled. The faces of Tan Lin and the others also became unusually ugly. They clearly remembered that Li Liang was tortured by Su Chen until he was neither human nor ghost. Logically speaking, there was absolutely no chance for him to survive. Then why was he not only still alive, but also abnormally powerful? This made them very puzzled, and they also felt that it was extremely strange. This is your trump card? Su Chen said calmly with a calm expression. Li Liang became 1,000 feet tall, but the aura he emitted was still at level 6. This meant that his strength had not increased. If his strength did not increase, he would only be able to scare people no matter how big he became. There was no practical meaning. Li Liang snorted coldly and suddenly shouted, "Revive!" The void trembled slightly, and 3 thick balls of gray light appeared in front of Su Chen. After a while, they turned into 3 undying clan members. Judging from their aura and appearance, they were the 3 undying clan members who were blown up by Su Chen's thunder-type spell. Can they really revive? Faced with this strange scene, Su Chen was a little moved. Su Chen, now you know what a real genius is, right? Li Liang laughed proudly. Then he waved his hand and said, "Let's go together and kill them all." Under Li Liang's command, all the zombies roared and rushed towards Su Chen. For a moment, smoke and dust billowed, and the sound waves reached the heavens. Hundreds of thousands of zombies gathered together, like a vast ocean, ferocious and monstrous, giving people a heavy feeling of suffocation. Faced with such a terrifying scene, if it were anyone else, they would have turned around and fled long ago. However, Su Chen was not afraid at all. After using Atlas shape-shifting, his cultivation level rose to level 7, and he approached Li Liang step by step. As for those zombies that rushed over, he simply turned a blind eye to them. With the ancient God-fiend body, he could ignore all attacks below the same level. Although there were over 100,000 zombies present, none of them were above level 7, so they wouldn't cause any harm to him. Bang, bang, bang. Countless zombies rushed in front of Su Chen, and like tiny grains of sand colliding with a towering mountain, they exploded and died. However, not long after they died, they would quickly revive and continue to rush towards Su Chen. However, this behavior was tantamount to hitting a rock with an egg, and it couldn't stop Su Chen from moving forward at all. Su Chen crushed all the way forward, and the sounds of explosions continued. In the blink of an eye, he was less than 20 meters away from Li Liang. Why is he so powerful? In front of him, Su Chen was strolling leisurely under the obstruction of thousands of zombies. Li Liang was inexplicably horrified, and his breathing almost stopped. As if he had foreseen the arrival of danger, he hysterically roared, "Stop him! Don't let him get close!" Chapter 558. Several level 6 cultivators standing at the feet of Li Liang looked at each other and rushed towards Su Chen. Level 6 cultivators couldn't cause any harm to Su Chen, and he didn't care at first. However, when the 5-colored thunderbolt shot over, it made his heart palpitate intensely. It seems to be the lightning attribute aura of the 5 thunder fruit. Instead of being surprised, Su Chen was overjoyed. He casually cast a violent thunder technique, which collided with the 5-colored lightning. There was a loud bang. The violent power of thunder and lightning raged, and thousands of zombies were blown to pieces on the spot. However, under the shroud of the gray mist, they quickly resurrected and continued to attack Su Chen. For such ants, Su Chen completely ignored them. At this moment, he narrowed his eyes and quickly glanced forward. Finally, he locked his eyes on a man in white. It was this person who released the 5-colored lightning just now. Su Chen suspected that the man in white could be Bai Zhe, and then he had the idea of capturing him. Then, he opened the pet breeding space and summoned 3 level 6 spiritual pets. He reached out and pointed at the man in white and ordered, "Catch that guy, I want him alive." The 3 spiritual pets rushed forward fiercely, and no one was their opponent. In the blink of an eye, they rushed to the man in white and fought with him. Su Chen turned his eyes to Li Liang and raised his hand to cast a Pegasus meteor punch. Bang, bang, bang. In a series of violent collisions, Li Liang's huge body was suddenly smashed. However, almost in the blink of an eye, his body was recondensed and looked the same as before. He didn't seem to have suffered any injuries. "Ah, Su Chen, I have an immortal body. What can you do to me?" Seeing that Su Chen couldn't hurt him, Li Liang laughed presumptuously. "Immortal body? Do you deserve it?" Su Chen snorted contemptuously. A black saber suddenly appeared in his hand and swept forward. A white torrent wriggled upwards. When it came into contact with Li Liang's body, it rapidly froze him. Then he jumped up. When he was in the air, he cut off Li Liang's head. "Do you think you can kill me by cutting off my head? You're too naive." Li Liang's huge head began to condense his body again as it fell down. In the blink of an eye, 1/3 of his body had been restored. Su Chen glanced coldly and punched the body that Li Liang had just condensed. Then he released his mental power, bound Li Liang's head, and pulled it closer. "Su Chen, I've already told you. I have an immortal body. You can't kill me." Even at this stage, Li Liang was still fearless and unusually arrogant. Hearing this, Su Chen's thoughts slowly turned. In his opinion, Li Liang definitely didn't have an immortal body. He just had an unusually strong recovery ability. And this recovery ability wouldn't be endless. Every time he recovered, it would consume something. When it was exhausted, he could kill Li Liang. However, he didn't know how long this method would take. Su Chen wanted to end the battle quickly. He didn't want to drag it on forever. But how could he kill Li Liang in one blow? Could he break his head? With this thought in mind, Su Chen punched Li Liang's head. Clang! This punch accurately smashed into Li Liang's glabella, but it was as if it had smashed into a steel plate, making the sound of metal clashing. Chapter 559. You want to kill me? Do you have the ability to do so? Li Liang's face darkened. He tried his best to remain calm as he sneered. "I should be able to kill you if I break your head." Su Chen's eyes narrowed. Li Liang's other parts were as fragile as paper, but his head was as hard as iron. This was very strange. "So what if you found my weakness? Do you think you can break it with your ability?" Li Liang admitted openly. His head was indeed his only weakness. As long as he broke his head, he could indeed kill him. However, since he knew this weakness, he had to be prepared. There was once a powerful undead clan member who had modified his head and fused it with a very hard defensive magic treasure. It could be said that the defense of his head had reached an incredible level. Even a level 8 cultivator would not be able to cause any damage to him. Although Su Chen was very strong, he was only level 7. How could he break through his defense? Naive. Su Chen sneered. Then, a long black sword appeared in his hand. It was the Chaos Skysplitter Sword. The Chaos Skysplitter Sword was a space divine artifact. In terms of attack power, it was Su Chen's strongest weapon. What's that? Li Liang felt a dangerous aura. He looked at the Chaos Skysplitter Sword. When he felt the terrifying spatial fluctuations from the Chaos Skysplitter Sword, he was shocked and shouted, "You have a space divine artifact. You know a lot." Su Chen was slightly stunned. Very few people knew about space divine artifacts. He had learned about them from Flaming Phoenix. It could be seen that Li Liang must have experienced a lot during this time. He must have many secrets. However, Su Chen did not plan to dig deeper. His main goal was to kill Li Liang. The Chaos Skysplitter Sword slashed through the air. Suddenly, a black vortex appeared above Li Liang's head. It contained terrifying spatial fluctuations. Li Liang was terrified and roared loudly. Su Chen remained unmoved. He controlled the black vortex to rotate downwards, and immediately tore a huge hole in Li Liang's head. Li Liang let out a blood-curdling scream, his entire face distorted. Su Chen turned a blind eye and continued to control the black vortex to wreak havoc above Li Liang's head. Asterisk crack. Asterisk accompanied by the crisp sound of bones cracking, Li Liang's huge head disappeared at a speed visible to the naked eye. In the blink of an eye, a third of its size had disappeared. But at this time, Su Chen suddenly discovered that Li Liang's head was embedded with a fist-sized crystal core, which exuded an extremely rich life aura. Could it be that Li Liang's healing ability is related to this crystal core? Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. He released his mental power to wrap around the crystal core, and then slowly pulled it out. Su Chen, you dare to take my crystal core. The Demon King will not let you go. Li Liang roared hysterically. Su Chen's move to take away the crystal core terrified him. It seems that my guess is right. Su Chen sneered in his heart. He increased the strength of his mental power and pulled the crystal core out. Su Chen, you will die a horrible death. After losing the crystal core, Li Liang's head quickly collapsed and turned into nothingness in the blink of an eye, leaving only an unwilling roar. Chapter 560. With Li Liang's death, the gray fog that shrouded the area dissipated. The zombies seemed to have sensed something and suddenly became restless. Especially the level 6 cultivators. Their faces were filled with fear. In order to confirm whether the zombies' resurrection ability had also disappeared, Su Chen raised his hand and cast a fire-type spell. A fireball the size of a wash basin fell into the group of zombies. Like a volcanic eruption, it exploded and killed hundreds of zombies on the spot. After these zombies died, a large number of fragments appeared on their corpses. The fragments meant that the zombies were completely dead and could not be resurrected. Seeing this, Su Chen curled his lips slightly and shouted at the intelligent war chariot, "Satoshi, destroy all the zombies." The intelligent war chariot activated its killing mode and crazily slaughtered the zombies. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and looked around. He was surprised to find that Flaming Phoenix and the man in white had disappeared. Previously, he had let the 3 spiritual pets besiege the man in white. How could he have let him escape? With doubts in his heart, Su Chen hurriedly asked, "Little tyrant, where are Flaming Phoenix and the human?" The heavenly overlord tortoise slapped hundreds of zombies to death and turned to look at Su Chen. "Master, that person used the lightning escape technique and escaped from our hands." The blazing flame phoenix went after him. "Lightning evasion?" Su Chen muttered. He had never heard of lightning evasion before. However, it was very mysterious to be able to escape from 3 spiritual pets. After pondering for a while, Su Chen summoned Steel Willow and ordered, "Little Willow, kill all the zombies and capture the 3 undead clan members. I want them alive." Steel Willow responded and first killed the undead clan members who wanted to escape. Su Chen leaped up and flew into the air. He looked around and quickly found traces of Flaming Phoenix. Then, he activated rapid combat boots and quickly chased after her. The white-clothed man was related to the whereabouts of the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree. He definitely would not let him go. As for the 100,000 zombies, although there were a lot of them, there weren't many high-level ones. With the intelligent war chariot, the 2 level 6 spiritual pets, and the diamond willow, whose strength was not inferior to his, joining forces, there would be no problem in killing all of them. Su-Chen sped all the way and soon arrived at the edge of a cliff. At this time, the flaming phoenix was standing on the edge of the cliff and looking down. Su-Chen landed beside Flaming Phoenix and asked, "Where's that guy, Flaming Phoenix?" "Master, he escaped into the miasma." Li Yanfeng immediately replied. "He entered the miasma?" Su-Chen frowned slightly, squinting his eyes as he looked down the cliff. Outside the cliff, there was a black fog surging, giving people a gloomy and terrifying feeling. The place that they could see was no more than 50 meters away. "Master, this guy will definitely die if he escapes into the miasma," the Flaming Phoenix reminded. It had been on Wangshu Island for decades, so it had naturally heard of the horror of the miasma. It was rumored that even a saint-level powerhouse would die if they entered. The white-clothed man was only level 6. If he entered rashly, he would definitely die. Su-Chen didn't think so. Since the white-clothed man had the lightning escape, he wouldn't seek his own death unless he had no other choice. Then, he remembered that Meng Sheng had also entered the miasma and came out alive. Through these 2 points, Su-Chen was almost certain that the white-clothed man must have something to rely on, which was why he dared to enter the miasma. Chapter 561. Little Flame, go back. "I'm going into the miasma," Su-Chen whispered. If he wanted to catch the man in white and find the whereabouts of the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree, he had to enter the miasma. Although it was a little risky, considering that Meng Sheng and the man in white dared to enter, and he had the ancient god-fiend body, it shouldn't be a big problem. Flaming Phoenix was shocked and hurriedly advised, "Master, please reconsider. It's too dangerous in the miasma." Even a sage-level expert could die in the miasma, which showed how terrifying the miasma was. Su-Chen was strong, but no matter how strong he was, he couldn't be compared to a sage-level expert. Once he entered the miasma, would he be able to survive? As Su-Chen's loyal spiritual pet, Flaming Phoenix naturally didn't want Su-Chen to court death. "Don't worry, I'm very confident." Su-Chen smiled. With that, he didn't give Flaming Phoenix a chance to speak and flew into the miasma. "Master." Flaming Phoenix stood in place for a while, then finally gritted its teeth and flew toward Sangmin City. As soon as Su-Chen entered the miasma, there was a buzzing sound around him. Before he could react, he saw a golden light flash in front of him, and then he saw a dense swarm of golden beetles floating in the air. There were thousands of them and they surrounded him. "Insect beasts?" Su-Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered. These golden beetles were each the size of an egg, and there were long and narrow fangs on their mouths that looked very sharp. Judging from their aura, each of them had reached level 3, and they exuded a ferocious aura. With so many level 3 insect beasts gathered together, if an ordinary cultivator encountered them, they would definitely die. But could a sage-level cultivator die? Although there were many insect beasts, they were only level 3. How could they be a match for a sage-level expert? Just as Su-Chen was wondering, a figure suddenly appeared in front of him. It was the man in white who had escaped into the miasma. There was also a huge golden beetle circling around him. Its aura had reached level 8. "Human, how dare you chase me all the way here? This will be your burial ground." The man in white glanced at Su-Chen and let out a cold whistle. "You're Bai Zhe, right?" Su-Chen curled his lips and said disdainfully, "Even a trash like you dares to enter here, why wouldn't I?" Hearing this, the white-robed man's face suddenly froze, and he said in a low voice, "How do you know my name?" For the sake of avoiding the pursuit of the Southern Region Divine Temple, he'd been concealing his identity since he'd entered prosperous Dawn Island. Later on, he'd joined Li Liang's forces, so logically speaking, it was impossible for anyone to know his background. "Tell me the whereabouts of the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree, and I can give you a quick death." Su-Chen couldn't be bothered to pay attention to him and asked sternly. "So you're from the Manyu Divine Temple?" Bai Zai's lips curved into a cold smile. Only a few people from the Manyu Divine Temple knew his identity, so they suspected that Su Chen was from the Manyu Divine Temple. You want to kill me? Don't even think about it. Bai Zai roared, then turned to the giant golden beetle beside him and said, My lord, this person wants to kill me. Please help me kill him. A sharp light shot out from the giant golden beetle's eyes, and then it said in human language, Kill. There was a violent tremor in the void, and the flying golden-shelled insects rushed towards Su Chen in an overwhelming manner. Seeing this, Su Chen was not afraid. Purple light flashed on his feet, and he stomped hard. Bang! There was a loud explosion in the air. Su Chen turned into a flash of light and rushed towards Bai Zai. Chapter 562. To Su Chen, who had the ancient god-fiend body, a level 3 insect was no different from a group of ants. The only thing that could threaten him was the level 8 insect. However, after leaving Wangshu Island, his cultivation level had returned to level 7. Coupled with the use of the Atlas shape-shifting skill, his cultivation level had risen to level 8. A mere level 8 insect beast was no longer a threat to him. What a fast speed! Bai Zai's eyelids twitched, and it could not help but take a few steps back. The level 8 golden-shelled insect sneered. Even if you're level 8, don't think you can be so arrogant in front of me. As soon as it finished speaking, the black fog around it surged wildly and wrapped around Su Chen. Su Chen suddenly felt an invisible force squeezing over, and the strength was so strong that he actually couldn't breathe. Unable to withstand the pressure, Su Chen's body began to deform. Kid, I told you to chase me. As if it could foresee Su Chen being crushed into meat paste, Bai Zai laughed wildly. You want me to die? You don't have the right to do so. With a cold snort, Su Chen suddenly displayed the heavenly hundredfold vigorous technique and pushed his arms outward. Crack, crack, crack. The invisible force that was wrapping around his body seemed to have been broken, and there was a clear cracking sound. However, the black fog around him surged again and shrouded Su Chen again. At the same time, an invisible force continued to press against Su Chen. Something's wrong. Su Chen's face darkened. He knew that the invisible force must have been derived from the black fog around him. It could be said that it was endless and cyclical. With his strength, it was impossible for him to destroy all the black fog. If he did that, he would be under endless pressure from the invisible force. By then, he might not even be able to survive, let alone capture Bai Zai. Su Chen knew that it would be very disadvantageous for him to continue in this stalemate, so he decided to use his trump card. Suddenly, a 5-colored stream of light appeared in front of him. Immediately after, there was a loud rumble. A small mountain that was 100 feet in size appeared out of thin air. It seemed to have shattered the surrounding space. The black fog drifting in the surroundings dissipated completely. It was also at this moment that the invisible force around Su Chen dissipated. You actually have a sacred artifact. The level 8 golden-shelled insect opened its mouth slightly, and its eyes were filled with disbelief. Su Chen took the opportunity and stepped into the air. In just a few steps, he appeared in front of the golden-shelled insect. Clang. In the next moment, a pitch-black longsword appeared in the air and slashed down at the level 8 golden-shelled insect. Crack. The void cracked open, and a slowly rotating black vortex surged out from within, heading straight for the level 8 golden-shelled insect. Spatial Saint Artifact. Feeling a terrifying space-tearing force coming at it, the level 8 golden-shelled insect showed a look of fear for the first time. It quickly retreated, trying to get away from the black vortex. However, Su Chen would not give it the chance to do so. His level 9 spiritual power surged forward like a flood, and in the blink of an eye, the level 8 golden-shelled insect was bound. The level 8 golden-shelled insect did not just sit there and wait for its death. After roaring at the sky, a bright golden light suddenly shot out from its body. With just a simple movement, the mental power that was wrapped around his body was shattered. So strong. Su Chen clicked his tongue. He definitely did not expect that his level 9 spiritual power would be so weak. However, although Su Chen was shocked, he did not panic. He held the sword with both hands and slashed from afar. Chapter 563. The black vortex descended rapidly and completely enveloped the level 8 golden-shelled insect. Crack, a bone-chilling shattering sound rang out. Countless cracks appeared on the body of the level 8 golden-shelled insect, and golden liquid flowed out of them. Large pieces of its carapace fell off its body and were crushed into powder in the blink of an eye. It looked extremely miserable. At this moment, the level 8 golden-shelled insect let out a painful cry. Seeing this scene, Su Chen was not happy at all. Instead, he frowned deeply. The level 8 golden-shelled insect was hit by the chaotic sky-sundering sword and was covered in wounds, but its aura did not dissipate. This meant that the level 8 golden-shelled insect was able to withstand the fatal blow of the chaotic sky-sundering sword with just its physical body. The strength of his physical body had simply reached an unimaginable level. Su Chen even felt that its physical body was not much weaker than the diamond willow, which was known as the diamond willow body. Sure enough, when the black vortex dissipated, the level 8 golden-shelled insect was still flying in midair. "Human, I have to say that you are very strong. But you shouldn't have angered me. Now, feel my anger." The level 8 golden-shelled insect snorted and bared its teeth. Then, it flapped its wings and rushed towards Su Chen like a golden torrent. In the face of such a ferocious attack, Su Chen stood motionless in the same place. There was even a touch of disdain on his face. With the ancient god-fiend body, he could ignore any attacks of the same level. The level 8 golden-shelled insect's cultivation was the same as his, so it could not cause any harm to him. "Boy, you can die now." Seeing that Su Chen did not dodge, Bai Zhe was ecstatic and murmured fiercely. The level 8 golden-shelled insect was also a little confused. It did not know why Su Chen was like a wooden stake waiting for it to attack. However, it didn't think too much about it. With an irresistible force, it viciously slammed into Su Chen's body. In the next moment, an incredible scene appeared. The expected scene where Su Chen's bones were broken and he died did not appear. Instead, the level 8 golden-shelled insect was sent flying after suffering a strange rebound force. Bai Zhe's mouth was wide open and its face was blank. The level 8 golden-shelled insect's attack did not cause any damage to Su Chen. This was too unbelievable. It was too unbelievable. If this scene in front of it was real, did it mean that Su Chen could not be killed? Thinking of this, Bai Zhe's heart stopped beating. On the other side, the level 8 golden-shelled insect steadied itself and shook its head. It looked at Su Chen blankly and said in a trembling voice, "Ancient godly demon body? Why do you have the ancient godly demon body?" Su Chen only felt a buzzing sound in his brain and was stunned for a moment. Level 8 golden-shelled insect. How the level 8 golden-shelled insect was. "How did you know?" Su Chen stared at the level 8 golden-shelled insect. The chaotic sky-splitter sword in his hand made a clanking sound again. This was a matter of great importance. If the level 8 golden-shelled insect did not tell him or held back, he would not hesitate to attack it. "Looks like you really do have the ancient god-fiend body." The level 8 golden-shelled insect sighed. As soon as it finished speaking, it flew to the ground and knelt in front of Su Chen. It shouted respectfully, "Gold-devouring insect greets master." "Master?" Su Chen's mouth was slightly open. His thoughts were a little stagnant. Why did the level 8 golden-shelled insect, which was attacking him crazily, suddenly call him master? Chapter 564. Bai Zhe was even more dumbfounded. His biggest reliance was the level 8 golden-shelled insect in front of him. If the golden-shelled insect thought that Su Chen was not its master, then wouldn't he be doomed? "Lord, what are you doing? Hurry up and kill that human." Bai Zhe was burning with anxiety and loudly reminded the level 8 golden-shelled insect. Unexpectedly, as soon as he finished speaking, his head was pierced by one of the golden-shelled insect's forelimbs, and he died on the spot. How dare you be disrespectful to my master, you deserve to die. The level 8 golden-shelled insect spat at Bai Zai's body and continued to kneel on the ground. It seemed to be extremely respectful to Su Chen. Fuck. Su Chen cursed in his heart. Although killing Bai Zai would help him vent his anger, it would also cut off the clues of finding the 5 thunder fruit tree, which made him very angry. Su Chen suppressed his anger and glanced at Bai Zai's body. Suddenly he found a colorful demon core in Bai Zai's broken head. The demon core of the 5 thunder fruit tree? Su Chen's heart skipped a beat, and he released his spiritual power to keep the demon core in his hand. After sizing it up for a moment, he calmly put it away into his storage pouch. From the aura emitted by the demon core, Su Chen judged that it should be the demon core of the 5 thunder fruit tree. Because there was still a level 8 golden-shelled insect to deal with, he did not communicate with the life fruit tree for the time being. Big insect, let me ask you again, how do you know about the ancient god fiend body? Su Chen's gaze fell on the level 8 golden-shelled insect and asked in a deep voice. Ever since I gained sentience, I have been following my previous master, so of course I know everything, the level 8 golden-shelled insect replied truthfully. Hearing this, Su Chen's mind slowly began to work. The level 8 golden-shelled insect's master must have practiced the ancient god fiend body, otherwise, the golden-shelled insect would not have mistaken him for someone else. You may have misunderstood, I am not your master, I just practiced the ancient god fiend body, Su Chen said lightly. Originally, he thought that if he told the truth, the level 8 golden-shelled insect would be enraged. However, the golden-shelled insect was still kneeling on the ground respectfully. It even started to explain to Su Chen, the previous owner has already passed away. I have known this for a long time. However, since you have the primordial god fiend body, you must be the successor of my previous master, who is also my current master. There was such a saying? Su Chen was a little confused. His ancient god-demon body was obtained from the fragment, so it definitely had nothing to do with the previous owner of the golden-shelled insect. But when he thought about it, the strength of this level 8 golden-shelled insect was very strong. It was even stronger than the King Kong willow. If he could take it as his spirit pet, its strength would definitely increase by another level. Because of this, Su Chen tacitly acknowledged his identity. Then, he pretended to be deep in thought and said, I obtained the primordial god fiend body by chance, so I don't know anything about your previous owner. Give me a detailed introduction. The golden-shelled insect nodded and began to say, the previous owner's name was Li Qiuhai. He was a stage 7 sage of the human race, but he passed away in the last ancient war. Stage 7 sage? There are stages above the sage stage? Su Chen's eyelids twitched violently, and he exclaimed anxiously. All along, he had thought that after surpassing level 10, he would reach the sage stage, which was the highest level of cultivation. He did not expect that there were also stages in the sage stage, which was completely beyond his imagination. Master, the sage stage is indeed divided into 10 stages. The weakest is stage 1, and the strongest is stage 10, the golden-shelled insect replied affirmatively. Chapter 565. A thought suddenly flashed through Su Chen's mind, and he asked tentatively, is there a realm above the saint level? Yes, the realm above the saint level is called the god level, but there are very few god-level elites. Almost all of them died in the last ancient war. The golden-shelled insect explained. Su Chen gasped. The fact that there was a godly state expert above the saint stage shocked him quite a bit. What is the ancient war? Su Chen calmed himself down and continued to ask. The ancient war involved the saint-level and god-level elites, and it piqued his interest. The ancient war is actually a battle between the 3 major forces, and it happens every 10,000 years. The golden-shelled insect said. 3 major forces? Su Chen pondered. Since the 3 major forces all had saint-level and god-level elites, their strength must have reached an unimaginable level. Thinking of what the Flaming Phoenix said before, in the Void battlefield, the 10,000 races formed a united front to fight against the Void beasts, Did it mean that the 10,000 races and the void beasts were one of the three major forces? Then what was the last force? What are the three major forces? Su Chen asked. The alliance of 10,000 races, the void beast tribe, and the machine empire. The golden-shelled insect quickly replied. Su Chen nodded slightly and asked, "Tell me more about the machine empire." The alliance of 10,000 races and the void beast tribe were the same as he guessed, but this was the first time he heard about the machine empire. The machine empire is similar to a kingdom of puppets, but different from ordinary puppets. They are all intelligent and abnormally powerful. There are armored puppets that are hundreds of feet tall, and there are also minibuses that can launch some special attacks. Hearing this, Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. The golden-shelled insect's explanation was somewhat similar to the mechanical soldiers and intelligent chariots. Could it be that the mechanical soldiers and intelligent chariots were products of the machine empire? Su Chen had some doubts, but he was not very sure. He took a deep breath and continued to ask, why do the three major forces fight each other? Rumor has it that there is a supreme artifact in the universe that appears once every 10,000 years. No matter who it is, as long as they can obtain this artifact, they will have the ability to rule the entire universe. The reason why the three forces are fighting each other is because of this divine artifact, explained the golden-shelled insect. Su Chen rubbed his nose and muttered to himself. If there really was a supreme artifact in this world, it could indeed cause many forces to fight for it. But after all, rumors were just transmissions. Whether it was true or not, he still needed to find out in the future. Have you seen the sword in my hand before? After pondering for a while, Su Chen asked. Now, he was a little suspicious. Did the items dropped by the fragment come from the battlefield of the ancient war? The golden-shelled insect shook its head. Su Chen didn't linger on this matter and changed the topic. You said you were a metal-devouring bug. Are you an insectoid? Yes, master. The metal-devouring beetle replied. What are your characteristics? Su Chen continued to ask. The metal-devouring beetle's defense alone was enough to make him a little wary, so he wanted to know more about it. My biggest characteristic is that my body is abnormally tough. Other than that, I also have the ability to devour everything. Of course, the prerequisite is that the opponent's cultivation cannot be too much higher than mine. Hearing this, Su Chen's eyes suddenly lit up. If the metal-devouring beetle could devour everything, wouldn't that mean it was almost invincible in the same realm? Chapter 566. At this moment, Su Chen had made up his mind to keep this gold-devouring beetle for his own use. Although the gold-devouring beetle already regarded him as its master and seemed to be very respectful towards him, Su Chen was still worried. Just in case, he took out 3 bottles of pet potion and let the gold-devouring beetle consume them. After drinking the pet potion, the gold-devouring beetle became even more respectful, and its eyes were filled with docility. Su Chen nodded slightly and asked, do you know the origin of the miasma? After learning about the gold-devouring beetle's origin and some ancient secrets, he began to suspect that the miasma outside the mysterious heavenly mainland was set up by someone. This layer of miasma was set up by my previous master and a few saint-level powerhouses together. It was to prevent the invasion of the foreign tribes and protect the human race on the mysterious heavenly mainland, the gold-devouring beetle explained. I see. Su Chen thought to himself and continued to ask, Senior Li Qiuhai died in the ancient war. As his spirit pet, how are you still alive? Li Qiuhai was a level 7 saint-level powerhouse while the gold-devouring beetle was only at level 8. The difference in strength between the two was like heaven and earth. Logically speaking, it was even more impossible for a spirit pet to survive when its master was dead. My previous master did not bring me along when he went to the last ancient war. He left me here, the gold-devouring beetle replied honestly. So you've lived for 10,000 years? Su Chen clicked his tongue. It was not that there were no races that could live for 10,000 years, but they were very rare. This showed that the gold-devouring beetle was not only strong individually, but also had a much longer lifespan than other races. Our lifespan is unlimited. As long as we're not killed, we can live forever. So I've really lived for more than 10,000 years, the gold-devouring beetle explained. The gold-devouring beetle had an unlimited lifespan, which was similar to the zombies. However, the gold-devouring beetle's advancement speed was too slow. It took 10,000 years for it to reach level 8. Su Chen could even imagine that if the gold-devouring beetle did not have an unlimited lifespan, it would be difficult for it to reach a high level. Gathering his thoughts, he continued to ask, "Rumor has it that even saint-level powerhouses will lose their lives if they enter this place. Is this true?" The gold-devouring beetle replied with a smile, "That's just a rumor that the previous master deliberately spread in order to intimidate the younger generation. However, it's true that anyone below the saint stage can be killed here." Su Chen pondered for a moment, not realizing that the gold-devouring beetles were boasting shamelessly. With the strange ability of the black fog and the large number of gold-devouring beetles, even if they couldn't immediately kill a high-grade cultivator, they could slowly exhaust them to death. But why were Meng Sheng and Bai Zhe able to enter and exit this miasma safely? And from the looks of it, his relationship with the gold-devouring beetles wasn't ordinary. With doubts in his heart, Su Chen asked, "There was a man named Meng Sheng who came here before. I heard that you gave him a lot of fruits? And what's your relationship with Bai Zhe?" The armor Meng Sheng was wearing belonged to one of my previous master's subordinates. I thought he was a descendant of that subordinate, so I gave him an opportunity. As for Bai Zhe, he had the aura of the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree. The 5 Thunder Fruit Tree belonged to an old friend of my previous master, so I didn't kill him. The gold-devouring beetle explained in detail. Hearing this, Su Chen narrowed his eyes and fell into deep thought. Lu Qiuhai's old friend should be a saint-level powerhouse of the Monster Plant clan, and the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree and other Monster Plant holy artifacts were very likely to belong to this powerhouse. Following the fall of this powerhouse in the ancient war, those Monster Plant holy artifacts were brought out by Diamond Willow. Chapter 567. Thinking of this, Su Chen opened the planting space and communicated with the longevity fruit tree. "Xiao Shou, was your previous master a saint-level monster plant?" The longevity fruit tree thought hard for a while and said blankly, "Master, I can't remember a lot of things." Hearing this, Su Chen didn't ask any more questions. After closing the plant dimension, he said to the gold-devouring bug, "Where did you get those spirit fruits? Do you have any more?" "They were all left by my previous master, but he gave them all to Meng Sheng. I don't have any left now." The gold-devouring bug replied with a trembling voice. Su Chen frowned slightly and sighed softly. Without finding the spirit fruits, he couldn't increase his strength. This made him very uncomfortable. Fortunately, the monster cores of the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree and the Strength Fruit Tree were in his hands. When he found the Tree of Life in the future, he would have a chance to revive them. Thinking of the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree and the Strength Fruit Tree, Su Chen's expression changed. He asked anxiously, "Little bug, do you know where the Sturdy Fruit Tree is?" When he killed Meng Sheng, the Longevity Fruit Tree sensed the aura of 3 Monster Plant holy items, including the Sturdy Fruit Tree. Now that he had the monster cores of the 5 Thunder Fruit Tree and the Strength Fruit Tree, he wouldn't let go of the Sturdy Fruit Tree. "I'm not sure." The gold-devouring bug shook its head. "Looks like the time hasn't come yet." Su Chen sighed, feeling a little down. However, he quickly recovered. After all, he had gained a lot from this trip. Not only did he learn about the ancient war, but he also got a level 8 bug. This was enough to make him satisfied. After taking a deep breath, Su Chen said, "You should be fine leaving the miasma with me, right?" There were 100,000 zombies in Songming City. Even with the Steel Willow and the Flaming Phoenix, he was still a little worried, so he wanted to go back as soon as possible. "I have no problem leaving the miasma. Wherever Master goes in the future, I will follow," the gold-devouring bug promised. "After you leave, will the miasma still be effective?" Su Chen muttered. The main attack of the miasma, other than the black fog, was the gold-devouring bug. The level 8 gold-devouring bug was the highest level here. Once he left, his deterrence would be greatly reduced. After all, they were all humans. He did not want the mysterious heavenly continent to lose the protection of the miasma. The gold-devouring beetles thought for a moment before replying, "In recent years, almost no outsiders have dared to enter the miasma. Furthermore, with the black mist and the other gold-devouring beetles, it shouldn't be a problem." "All right, let's leave now." Su Chen nodded. With that, he flew out of the miasma with the gold-devouring beetles. After leaving the miasma, the man and the beast flew straight towards Tsangmin City at lightning speed. The current Azure Sea City was like a purgatory. Tens of thousands of zombies were killed on the spot. The ground was dyed red, and the air was filled with a pungent smell of blood. As the high-level zombies were almost completely slaughtered, Wu Yang and the others had already walked out of the intelligent war chariot and joined the hunt. When Su Chen and the gold-devouring beetles flew over, the flaming phoenix was the first to notice them. It shouted excitedly, "Master, you're back!" However, when it sensed the powerful aura of the gold-devouring beetles, its body trembled. The steel willow next to it sensed something and turned its head. When it saw the gold-devouring beetles, its expression changed slightly. It was obvious that the arrival of the gold-devouring beetles gave them a strong sense of oppression. Chapter 568. Little Worm, Go and Kill the Zombies. Su Chen instructed and turned to King Kong Lu's side, asking, "Little King Kong Lu, where are the 3 undead clan members?" Li Liang had suddenly become so powerful. There must be many secrets behind it. Among the people present, perhaps only the 3 undying clan members knew the secret. "Master, they are all over there." King Kong Lu pointed at a certain spot and replied. Su Chen looked in the direction that King Kong Lu was pointing at and saw 3 undying clan members lying on the ground nearby. Their limbs were all broken, and they looked like they were seriously injured. Su nodded and arranged for King Kong Lu to kill the zombies. He then walked straight to the 3 undying clan members. He walked to the 3 undying clan members and asked coldly, "Which one of you knows Li Liang's background?" The 3 undying clan members looked at each other. One of them laughed wantonly and said, "Human, you want to know Master Li's background? Stop dreaming." Su Chen pursed his lips and released his mental strength to crush the undying clan member's head. "Human, the undying clan won't let you go." Seeing that his companion was killed on the spot, the undying clan member on the left roared furiously. Su snorted and shot out a wind blade. He controlled his strength and chopped off the undying clan member's limbs. The undying clan member who was turned into a human stick let out a heart-wrenching scream. Su Chen was unmoved. He controlled his mental strength and slowly squeezed the undying clan member until he was crushed into a pile of meat paste. The last undying clan member witnessed this scene and his face turned green with fear. Initially, he was prepared to be killed. However, after witnessing Su Chen's torture methods, he knew that he had to be careful. He clearly realized that if he fell into Su Chen's hands, it would not be easy for him to die a quick death. "You're the only one left. Are you going to tell me?" Su Chen narrowed his eyes and looked at the last undying clan member. A cruel smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. "I won't be able to escape death even if I tell you. Just kill me." The corners of the undead race member's mouth twitched as he gritted his teeth. "Your courage is commendable." Su Chen pursed his lips, took out a bottle of healing potion, and forced the undead clan member to drink it. Feeling that his injuries were recovering quickly, the undead tribesmen were a little confused. They did not know what Su Chen was up to. But at this moment, Su Chen called Chao Ran over and ordered, "Chao Ran, cut this guy into pieces." "Got it, Chingu." Chao Ran immediately became excited. He took out his dagger and started cutting the undead race's body. Because their bodies were restrained by Su Chen's mental power, the undead clan members had become lambs waiting to be slaughtered. They could only watch as their flesh was cut off piece by piece. Instantly, screams came out of the undying clan member's mouth. Chao Ran turned a deaf ear to the screams and cut the flesh very seriously. Although it was his first time using this kind of torture, His movements were very skillful. The size of the flesh that was cut off was basically the same, and the speed was very fast. In the blink of an eye, a small pile of bloody flesh had been cut off. There were roughly more than 100 pieces. "Senior, I'll tell you. I'll tell you everything. Let me go." Finally, the undead clan member's mental defense collapsed. He loudly begged Su Chen for mercy. "I thought your mouth was very useful." Su Chen smiled contemptuously and gave Chao Ran a look. Chao Ran stopped and threatened with a gloomy face, "Tell me honestly, or I'll cut you into a skeleton." The undead clan member was so frightened that he trembled and nodded furiously. Chapter 569. Tell me. Don't hide anything from me or you'll regret it. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and stared at the undead tribesman. His voice was cold. "Senior, Li Liang was found by our tribesmen on Qinyu Island," the undead tribesman quickly replied. "Go on." Su Chen snorted. The undead tribesman did not lie about Li Liang being turned into a zombie on Qinyu Island. However, that was not what he was concerned about. He wanted to know why Li Liang had such a terrifying recovery and resurrection ability. Li Liang has a healing physique and it's especially powerful. He can even regrow severed limbs. This attracted the attention of our tribesmen. Later on, there was a rumor that a level 10 existence in our tribe brought him into the void battlefield and helped him awaken his resurrection ability. With such a heaven-defying ability, Li Liang's status skyrocketed, the undead tribesman explained. "So, he's entered the void battlefield before." Su Chen was enlightened. There was a certain probability of awakening a special ability after entering the void battlefield. The Flaming Phoenix's law of fire and Pei Hai's spiritual energy sword condensation technique were the same. Why did Li Liang come to Wangshu Island? Su Chen continued to ask. Logically speaking, Li Liang's large-scale resurrection ability would definitely be regarded as a treasure by the undead tribesmen. They would never let him go out and take risks easily. There are two reasons. The undead tribesmen sighed and said, "Our tribe wants to control Wangshu Island, so we need a powerhouse to oversee it. On the other hand, we found your tracks and predicted that you'd go to the mysterious heavenly mainland. Therefore, we wanted to kill you on Wangshu Island." After Li Liang received the news, he took the initiative to volunteer. He even pledged that he would definitely be able to kill Senior here. Upon hearing this, Su Chen narrowed his eyes and pondered. It was an indisputable fact that Li Liang hated him to the core. It was reasonable for him to come to Wangshu Island to kill him. However, Li Liang was obviously a little arrogant and underestimated his strength. In the end, he was still killed by him. After figuring out what had happened, Su Chen killed the undead tribesman with one punch. Then, he narrowed his eyes and scanned the surroundings. At this moment, the number of zombies that were still alive was less than a quarter of the previous number, and the ground was covered with thousands of shards. Seeing this, the corners of Su Chen's mouth could not help but curl up. He then activated the automatic pickup function and began to collect the fragments. After collecting half of them, the Flaming Phoenix came to Su Chen's side and asked in a low voice, "Master, is that gold-devouring bug your new pet?" Su Chen nodded slightly. "You know the gold-devouring beetles?" On the way back, he had communicated with the gold-devouring beetles and learned that they were very rare in the world. Apart from those in the miasma, they were very rare in other places. Su Chen was surprised that the Flaming Phoenix knew about the gold-devouring beetles. "Yes, I do. Our holy demon tribe has a saint-level gold-devouring beetle," the Flaming Phoenix explained. "What level of saint level is it?" Su Chen's eyelids twitched as he asked anxiously. The gold-devouring beetle's individual combat strength was very strong. It could be seen that it could take a hit from the Primal Chaos Skysplitter sword with its body. It could be said that it was almost invincible in the same level. The saint-level gold-devouring beetle's strength was many times stronger, which was enough to attract his attention. "Are there levels in the saint level?" The Flaming Phoenix was a little confused. It had only heard of the saint level, but it did not know that there were levels in the saint level. The saint level is also divided into 10 levels. Su Chen explained and then asked, "Why did you suddenly mention the gold-devouring beetle?" Chapter 570. Flaming Phoenix's face darkened as she whispered, "Master, you mustn't reveal the gold-devouring bug outside, especially when you encounter our sacred demon tribe." Su Chen froze for a moment, quietly waiting for Lai Rand Phoenix to continue. The Flame Phoenix explained, "It is very difficult for the metal-devouring beetles to evolve, especially at a high level. It is as difficult as ascending to the heavens. However, there is a shortcut, and that is to devour each other. Our sacred demon tribe's gold-devouring bug relied on devouring its own kind to reach this level. According to rumors, it has devoured tens of thousands of other gold-devouring bugs." Hearing this, Su Chen's face changed slightly. He could foresee that once the sacred demon tribe's gold-devouring bug knew that he had a level 8 gold-devouring bug, it would definitely try to capture it. With his current strength, he was definitely not a match for the sacred demon tribe's gold-devouring bug. At that time, not only would he not be able to protect the level 8 gold-devouring bug, he might even lose his life. "It seems that before I reach the sacred demon tribe, I can't reveal the gold-devouring bug," Su Chen muttered to himself. As a precaution, he stored the gold-devouring bug in the pet breeding space. After that, he joined the ranks of the zombies. After nearly an hour, all the zombies were slaughtered. Su Chen collected the fragments and returned to the intelligent chariot alone. Wu Yang and the others began to dig for energy stones. As soon as he got on the chariot, Su Chen opened the plant breeding space and took out the crystal core from Li Liang's head to communicate with the longevity fruit tree. "Xiao Shou, do you recognize this crystal core?" The longevity fruit tree looked at it carefully and replied in surprise, "Master, this seems to be a zombie's energy stone formed after it mutated. However, isn't the life force contained in it too dense? It's almost the same as the fruit of life. What can this crystal core be used for?" Su Chen asked. No matter how good an item was, if it was kept in one's hands, it was equivalent to trash. Only when it was used to its full potential could it be considered a good item. This kind of crystal core, which contains vitality, has a wide range of uses. If it is used on a MCV, a puppet, or a zombie, they will have the ability to recover quickly. If they are not killed by a single blow, they are almost immortal, the life fruit tree explained. Hearing this, Su Chen's heart moved. According to the longevity fruit tree, the gold-devouring willow and mechanical soldiers could all be used. The devouring soldier's ability, the devouring willow's choose, and soldiers to devouring willow could be used to make a choice. If it had devouring its S's devouring willow eat. And once the diamond willow had the ability to recover, it would be even more incredible. Devouring die, S devouring its devouring beast. S's, S devouring willow devouring to use devouring beast to use, S master, S, Y. Su Chen was a little puzzled. The longevity fruit tree explained, "Master, aren't you looking for the tree of life? If the tree of life dies, you can use this crystal core to resurrect it." Su Chen's eyes suddenly lit up. He was determined to get the tree of life because it could save the strength fruit tree and the 5 thunder fruit tree. However, as the longevity fruit tree said, once the tree of life died, the strength fruit tree and the 5 thunder fruit tree could not be saved. In the case of not being sure whether the tree of life was dead or alive, it was indeed necessary to keep the crystal core. Chapter 571. I'll listen to you. I'll leave this crystal core and this demonic core to you for safekeeping. As Su Chen spoke, he took out the demonic core of the 5 thunder fruit tree and sent it to the longevity fruit tree along with the crystal core. This is the crystal core of the 5 thunder fruit tree. The longevity fruit tree was shocked. Su Chen had just gotten the demonic core of the fruit of strength. He did not expect to get the demonic core of the 5 thunder fruit tree in such a short time. The longevity fruit tree could not help but sigh at Su Chen's luck and means. "Take good care of them for me," Su Chen reminded it and closed the planting space. Then, he returned to the driver's seat and began to check the fragments that he had collected. This time, there were more than 9,000 fragments. If all of them were exchanged for energy points, together with the energy points that he had previously accumulated, the total amount of energy points would exceed the 10,000 mark. In this way, he could exchange for another item that was worth 10,000 energy points. As there were too many fragments, Su Chen spent nearly 3 hours sorting them out. Other than a few bottles of Constitution Potion and dozens of upgrade gems, the rest of the fragments were all exchanged for energy points. The total number of energy points was 11,866. Su Chen opened the Doomsday Mall and checked the exchange points for the level 8 All Attributes fragment. When he saw that it required 5,000 energy points, he decided not to exchange for anything for the time being and kept the 10,000 energy points for backup. As he was about to enter the mysterious heavenly continent, there were many powerhouses above level 9 and even the existence of the sacred stage. If he had a conflict with these powerhouses and could not fight them, he could increase his strength by leveling up. Anyway, leveling up could be done anytime and anywhere with just a thought. There was no hurry. Later, Su Chen closed the Doomsday Mall and got out of the car to dig for energy stones with Wu Yang and the others. As there were too many zombies killed, they dug until noon the next day before they could dig out all the energy stones. Su Chen asked everyone to get in the car and soon left Tsangming City. "Master, where are we going?" Su Chen only told them to leave this place and did not tell them where to go. The intelligent war vehicle was a little confused. "Let's find a quiet place to rest first." Su Chen replied and then opened the pet feeding space to communicate with the gold-devouring beetles. "Little worm, can the intelligent war chariot enter the mysterious heavenly continent through the miasma?" There was still some time before Tianwang City's teleportation array would be activated. Su Chen did not want to wait blindly. If they could enter the mysterious heavenly mainland through the miasma, they would not have to waste time waiting. "Master, the black fog in the miasma is not under my control. If the MCV enters it, it will easily be damaged," the gold-devouring beetle replied truthfully. Su Chen would not take the risk even if there was a trace of danger. He gave up on the idea and turned to look at the central control screen. Since he had to wait, he couldn't afford to be idle during this period. There were still many foreign races on Wangshu Island, and they could take advantage of this period of time to eradicate them one by one. After a while, he called Qin Mingfei to his side and asked her about the location of the other forces. The zombies and the Chimera tribe had been destroyed. The only ones left were the Rock tribe, the Green Glow tribe, and the Protoss tribe. As for the mutated beasts in the Jade Forest Mountain, Su Chen did not want to hunt them down because their levels were too low and they had escaped into the forest. An hour later, the intelligent war chariot entered a quiet little forest. After killing 100,000 zombies and digging for energy stones, everyone was unusually tired. Su Chen decided to rest for a day. Chapter 572. For the rest of the time, Yang Hao and the others began to prepare the meal. Su Chen opened his storage bag and checked the number of physique potions and upgrade gems. Wu Yang and the others had been promoted for quite some time. Su Chen planned to upgrade all of them before entering the mysterious heavenly continent. As for their weapons, they were obviously not enough, so they might as well upgrade their quality at once. After the meal, Su Chen distributed the physique potions and upgrade gems. Wu Yang and the others successfully promoted, and their weapons were also upgraded. Qin Mingfei looked at them eagerly. She was extremely shocked and envious. As Qin Mingfei was not one of them, Su Chen did not distribute them to her. However, if they could successfully find the primordial spirit-shaping fruit tree, Su Chen might consider giving her a bottle since Qin Mingfei had put in a lot of effort along the way. After resting for a day, the next morning, the intelligent war chariot set off on its journey to hunt foreign tribesmen. After spending nearly 10 days, all the foreign tribesmen on Wangshu Island were slaughtered. Su Chen also took the opportunity to harvest a wave of fragments. Other than keeping a few useful things, he exchanged the rest for energy points. The total number of energy points suddenly broke through the 15,000 mark. Seeing this number, Su Chen was a little itchy. Previously, he did not choose to exchange for anything because he wanted to keep it as a backup. If he did not encounter any danger, he could exchange for something that cost 10,000 energy points. However, now that his energy points had broken through the 15,000 mark, he could immediately exchange for something that cost 10,000 energy points. Because the remaining 5,000 energy points were enough for him to advance. Su Chen did not hesitate and began to think about which item to exchange for. At present, there were 4 items that required 10,000 energy points to exchange for. They were the Myriad Lights 10 Shadows Killing Technique, the Disillusionment Blazing Feather Divine Dragon, the 5 Thunder Purgatory Formation, and the Drunken Life. Among them, the Myriad Lights 10 Shadows Killing Technique had appeared a long time ago, and Su Chen had long coveted it. He should have exchanged for it long ago, but the Time Accelerator and the Skylifting Wood Transformation Technique had snatched the slots. This time, it was the 10,000 Lights 10 Shadows Fighting Technique's turn. Without hesitation, Su Chen spent 10,000 energy points to exchange for the 10,000 Lights 10 Shadows Fighting Technique. The moment the exchange was successful, the feedback was quickly transmitted to his mind. The 10,000 Lights 10 Shadows Fighting Technique was a kind of close combat secret skill. After it was used, it would create 10 shadows that were exactly the same as the real body. Furthermore, each shadow possessed 100% of the original strength. The only drawback was that the duration was too short, only 3 breaths. After 3 breaths, the illusory figure would automatically disappear. After reading the feedback, Su Chen was ecstatic. With his current strength, once he created 10 phantoms, he could basically kill his opponent in an instant. It would take him less than 3 breaths. If it was used together with Atlas's shape-shifting technique, its lethality would increase exponentially. Imagine that after the transformation, one of them would hold the Primal Chaos Sky-Splitting Sword, the other would hold the Primordial 5 Poles Mountain, and the other would release their spiritual force and various magic arts. In the face of such dense and terrifying attacks, how many people could resist? Su Chen even thought that even a level 10 cultivator would not have an easy time facing such an attack. Moreover, he still had 5,000 energy points and could level up at any time. In this way, almost no one below the sage level would be his match. Without a doubt, after exchanging for the Myriad Lights 10 Shadows Fighting Technique, Su Chen's strength had increased by a large margin, and he had taken another solid step on the path of invincibility. Chapter 573. Considering that there were only a few days left before the teleportation formation would be activated, Su Chen brought everyone into Tianwang City in advance to avoid any trouble. Once they entered the city, Su Chen contacted Han Sanqian and confirmed that the teleportation formation would be activated in 3 days. Then, they began to tour Tianwang City. They tasted the local delicacies and bought some strange things. In short, they could do whatever they wanted with energy stones. They could eat whatever they liked and buy whatever they liked. Yang Hao and the other 2 were having a lot of fun. Tan Lin and the rest also showed off the powerful purchasing power of women. In just 3 days, the room opened by the intelligent war chariot was filled to the brim. Su Chen did not mind. After all, he had plenty of energy stones. No matter how much Tan Lin and the rest could spend, it was nothing to him. On the 4th day, Su Chen brought everyone to the place where the transmission array was located. As it was his first time being teleported, Su Chen was still a little worried. He asked Shen Mengfei, "Will there be any danger during the teleportation?" "Senior, don't worry. The teleportation formation here has existed for hundreds and thousands of years. There has never been any problems. It's absolutely safe," Shen Mengfei promised. Su Chen nodded slightly and felt a little relieved. "Senior, the teleportation formation is ready. We can start the teleportation." Han Sanqian accompanied Su Chen throughout the journey. He stood beside him respectfully. "Let's go." Su Chen led everyone into a circular light formation and indicated that Han Sanqian could activate it. Han Santian did not say anything and pressed the teleportation button. A white beam of light shone down from the circular light formation and enveloped Su Chen and the rest. Su Chen only felt his vision blur and his body quickly turned illusory. Just as he was about to disappear, Han Santian's lips curled into a strange smile that was hard to detect. He flicked his finger and a red ball shot out from his finger. It shot to the edge of the light formation and exploded violently. The entire circular light formation shook violently and was about to collapse. Su Chen sensed that something was wrong. When he tried to stop it, it was already too late. The next moment he found himself in a pitch-black space. The surroundings were silent and unusually eerie. "Are you all okay?" Su Chen condensed a fireball, illuminating the surroundings as he called out softly. Su Chen were fine. Tan Lin and the other women gathered around Su Chen. "Chengu, where are we?" Yang Hao seemed a little flustered. Wu Yang glanced around and his face turned ashen. Su Chen was also at a loss. He only knew that this was definitely not the mysterious heavenly mainland, but he had no idea where he had been sent to. "Shen Meng Fei, do you know what's going on?" After all, Shen Meng Fei had experienced the teleportation, so Su Chen placed his hopes on her. "Senior, I'm not sure either." Shen Meng Fei had a bitter expression on her face. Hearing this, Su Chen frowned. After pondering for a while, he quickly opened the pet breeding space and contacted the spiritual pets inside. "Little Flame, do any of you know where this is?" The pet breeding space was silent for a while. Suddenly, the flaming phoenix said in a trembling voice, "Master, I think we've entered a space node." "What's a space node?" Su Chen asked anxiously. The flaming phoenix explained, "A space node is an independent space in the void. It's very safe here, but it can't contact the outside world." Chapter 574. Master, did something happen during the teleportation? The flaming phoenix asked after explaining. Su Chen didn't hide anything and told them about how Han Santian had interfered during the teleportation. The flaming phoenix said with lingering fear, "Luckily, we were lucky enough to be teleported into a spatial node. If we had been teleported into spatial turbulence, we would have been in danger." "Flaming, what spatial turbulence?" Su Chen rubbed his nose and asked. He had never heard of spatial turbulence before, but it sounded quite powerful. Spatial turbulence is a special kind of air current produced by spatial cracks. It has the power to tear apart space. Once you fall into it, even a saint-level powerhouse has the possibility of dying. Hearing this, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air and secretly felt lucky. Su Chen's face turned completely cold. He could imagine that if they had been teleported into spatial turbulence, other than him, Wu Yang and the others wouldn't have been able to survive. And the main culprit was Han Santian. However, Su Chen also knew that if it was just Han Santian alone, he wouldn't have dared to do anything to the teleportation formation even if he had 10 times the courage. There was definitely someone behind him who was instructing him. The outsiders, the Wenshi dynasty, and the Barbarian Temple were all suspicious. It wasn't impossible that the three of them had joined forces. Through this incident, Su Chen saw how sinister people could be. At the same time, it was a wake-up call for him. He had to be more careful in the future. After taking a deep breath, Su Chen continued to ask, "Flaming, other than spatial turbulence, what else is there outside the spatial node?" Considering that they couldn't stay here forever, and that they would have to face the world outside the spatial node sooner or later, he wanted to understand it as soon as possible. Outside the spatial node is a vast expanse of space, and within the expanse of space is mostly spatial turbulence. There are very few places to rest, the flaming phoenix said. The void battleground isn't in the expanse of space? Su Chen was puzzled. The void battleground was the place where the three forces fought, so it should be built in the void. However, if there were spatial turbulence everywhere, how could the void battleground exist? The void battleground is actually located on a piece of land in the void. There is no spatial turbulence around that piece of land, and there are no spatial nodes, Flaming Phoenix explained. In other words, once we leave the space node, We will have to face endless space turbulence. Won't that be the end of us? Su Chen frowned and whispered, I won't. Flaming Phoenix said with certainty, the spatial node is a stagnant point in the teleportation process. Once the spatial node is destroyed, the teleportation will continue, but the destination will be random. You mean to say that if I break the space node, I won't be able to go to the Xian continent? Instead, I might enter the territories of other races? Su Chen took a deep breath and said solemnly. Flaming Phoenix nodded. Upon hearing this, Su Chen fell silent. If he continued to stay here, he would be trapped here for the rest of his life. This was something he definitely didn't want to do. Breaking the spatial node to teleport was also a huge risk. Because it was a random teleportation, there was a certain probability that he would be teleported to some powerful races. These powerful races all had saint-level existences. Unfortunately, he had offended almost all of these powerful races. This was especially true for the 5 super races, who were all irreconcilable enemies. After thinking for a long time, Su Chen finally decided to leave this place. With his current strength, as long as he didn't encounter any saint-level existences, he wouldn't be in too much danger. Furthermore, saint-level existences weren't cabbages. There wouldn't be many of them. Furthermore, existences like them would be busy with cultivation and wouldn't easily get involved in worldly affairs. In this way, even if he was teleported to a powerful race, he would have a high chance of escaping. Chapter 575. How do I break the spatial node? Su Chen asked. There seemed to be no end to the space here, and he really did not know how to do it. Master, if you use your spatial sacred weapon to slash it with all your strength, there is a high chance that you will break the spatial barrier. When the barrier is broken, we will be teleported away, the Flaming Phoenix replied. Su nodded slightly, then gathered everyone and said, Everyone, gather together. When the spatial barrier is broken, we will be teleported to a random place. When the time comes, don't panic, and you must stay close to me. Got it, Xinge? Yang Hao and the others nodded. In order to prevent strong enemies from appearing at the teleportation place, Su Chen summoned the Vajra Willow to protect everyone's safety. Then, he held the Primal Chaos Skysplitter sword tightly with both hands and slashed with all his strength. There was a crisp cracking sound, and a white light suddenly flashed in the dim space, enveloping everyone. Then, everyone felt their vision blur, and the world around them spun. Fortunately, this feeling only lasted for a few breaths of time before it disappeared. When the scene in front of them gradually became clear, Su Chen suddenly realized that he was in a huge stone hall. Around the stone hall, there were pairs of unfriendly eyes staring at them. At the same time, they heard shouting and cursing. They are all humans. Why would humans appear in a teleportation formation? Why do you care so much? Take them down and ask them. Su Chen blinked, and soon, turtle-like faces appeared in his vision. Green Turtle Tribe? Su Chen was stunned for a moment, and then he was overjoyed. He could clearly see that the people gathered around him were all members of the Green Turtle Tribe. When he was at Thousand Feather Island, he had killed many members of the Green Turtle Tribe, so he naturally recognized them at a glance. The Green Turtle Tribe was a trashy tribe among the tens of thousands of tribes. The strongest person was only at level 4, and he had already killed him. Therefore, teleporting to the Green Turtle Tribe's mainland was not only not dangerous, but it was also an existence that he could do whatever he wanted. It was even possible that he could wipe out the entire tribe. Wu Yang and the others relaxed when they recognized that it was the Green Turtle Tribe. Other than Xin Mengfei, all of them were evolvers above level 4. Their levels were higher than the Green Tortoise Tribe, so killing them would be a piece of cake. Chen Go, what should we do? Yang Hao walked to Su Chen's side and asked. However, at this moment, the Green Tortoise race had already launched an attack. Su Chen smiled faintly and said, the other party has already made a move. We don't need to be polite. As soon as Su Chen finished speaking, Shi Danyu and Chao Ran took the lead and charged forward. At this moment, the others also made their moves. For a moment, the entire hall was drowned out by the sounds of fighting and screams. Su-chin narrowed his eyes and scanned the area. Then, he released his mind power and controlled the 3 green tortoise tribesmen, pulling them to his side. The 3 green turtle tribesmen were terrified. They struggled with all their might, but under Su-chen's mental restraint, all their struggles were futile. "Who can tell me where this place is?" Su-chen asked faintly. This was undoubtedly the territory of the green turtle tribe, but he still wanted to know where exactly it was. "Human, hurry up and let me go. Otherwise, I'll make you beg for death." One of the green tortoise tribesmen ignored Su-chen's words and roared loudly. Unexpectedly, just as he roared, his entire head exploded into a cloud of blood mist with a bang. After killing this green tortoise tribesman, Su-chen's gaze fell on another green tortoise. He whispered, "You tell me." Chapter 576. Under Su-chen's gaze, the green turtle tribesman's face turned pale with fright. He hesitated for a moment. Su-chen snorted and killed the green turtle tribesman without giving him a chance to speak. Then, he turned his attention to the 3rd green turtle tribesman. "Senior, this is the East Royal City. Please don't kill me." The 3rd green turtle tribesman was so frightened that he quickly replied before Su-chen could ask him anything. Su-chen nodded his head in satisfaction. He continued to ask, "Does the green turtle tribe have a realm passage that leads to the mysterious heavenly mainland? If they wanted to return to the mysterious heavenly mainland, they would have to pass through the realm passage." Originally, the green turtle tribe had a realm passage that led to Chinyu Island. Unfortunately, it was destroyed by an explosion. "Senior, I don't know." The green turtle tribesman replied in a trembling voice. He was afraid that Su-chen would not believe him, so he explained, "I'm just an insignificant person in the green turtle tribe. Only the higher-ups of the tribe know about the realm passage." "Where are your higher-ups?" Su-chen asked in a deep voice. "The East Royal City is the largest city in our tribe. All of our higher-ups are here." The green turtle tribesman quickly replied. Su-chen's eyes lit up. If the green turtle tribesmen were all in the East Royal City, it would save him a lot of time. Not only would he be able to ask about the realm passage, but he would also be able to catch all of them in one fell swoop. "I'm very satisfied with your answer." Su-chen praised and crushed the green turtle tribesman's head without warning. Then, he took out the intelligent war chariot and ordered, "Satoshi, search for the strongest green turtle tribesmen and locate them." The intelligent war chariot quickly activated its search function. After a few seconds, it reported to Su-chen, "Master, I found a level 6 evolved being and a large group of level 3 evolved beings. They're moving quickly toward us." "There's a level 6 green turtle tribesman?" Su-chen muttered. He clearly remembered that when he killed the green turtle patriarch on Thousand Feather Island, it was only level 4. Even the sacred turtle was only level 5. How could it be level 6 in the blink of an eye? The intelligent war chariot explained, "Master, that level 6 evolver is from the undead clan, and the other level 3 evolvers are from the green turtle clan." Oh! Su-chen suddenly understood. The green tortoise tribe was a subordinate force of the undead, so it was normal for a level 6 undead to appear here. "Since they're here, let's go out and meet them." Su-chen smiled and walked out of the hall. Wu Yang and the others had already slaughtered all of the green turtle tribe people in the hall. At this point, they had no choice but to fight their way out of the hall. Su-chen collected the fragments as he walked. When he arrived at the entrance of the hall, he called King Kong Willow and Flaming Phoenix to his side. The two of them were too strong. If they made a move, they would cause too much of a commotion. If they scared away the undead clan member, it would take a lot of effort to capture him. On the street outside the hall, there were tens of thousands of green turtle tribesmen gathered. At this moment, they were charging towards Wu Yang and the others with no regard for their lives. However, the huge difference in strength made this kind of charge a hopeless battle. A large number of green turtle tribesmen's corpses were lying on the street. They had died miserably, and blood flowed everywhere. The entire street was dyed red. Su Chen glanced at them and no longer paid attention to them. He activated the automatic pickup function to collect the fragments and quietly waited for the level 6 undead clan member to arrive. A few minutes later, an angry roar came from the front. Everyone stop. Hearing this roar, all of the green turtle tribesmen stopped their charge and retreated. Wu Yang and the others also retreated under Su Chen's signal. Chapter 577. Humans, how did you enter this place? A middle-aged man with a dark complexion walked out from the group of green turtles. He glanced at Su Chen and the others and frowned. The green turtles' continent no longer had a boundary passage that connected to the human continent. How did the humans in front of him get here? This made him feel very puzzled. After confirming that the person who spoke was the level 6 extraordinary tribesman, Su Chen immediately released his spiritual energy to restrain him. You, the undead tribesman, felt an invisible force pressing down on him. His expression changed drastically as he struggled desperately, trying to break free from the restraints. However, he was shocked to find that no matter how hard he struggled, it was all in vain. Get over here. Su Chen manipulated his spiritual force and pulled it in front of him. Level 7 spiritual energy. The undead tribesman's heart was filled with despair. When he realized that Su Chen was most likely a level 7 spiritual energy reader, he was filled with regret. At first, he had received news that there were a few level 5 evolvers here. He had dared to come because he was a level 6 evolver. If he had known that there was a level 7 spiritual energy reader here, he would not have foolishly come to his death. The other powerful beings of the green tortoise race who had come with them saw how the undying race had been captured without even being able to put up any resistance, and their hearts palpitated with fear. They looked at each other and wanted to sneak away. However, Su Chen wanted to catch them all in one fell swoop. How could he let them escape? Whoever dares to move will be killed on the spot. Su Chen looked coldly at them and roared. As soon as he said this, most of the green turtles were shocked. However, there were still 2 level 3 green turtles who were quietly retreating. Little Willow, kill those 2 ants. Su Chen noticed the strange movements of the 2 green turtles and immediately ordered Jean Gang Willow. Without another word, Jean Gang Lu flew forward at lightning speed and stomped a level 3 green tortoise tribesman into meat paste. Then, he punched another green tortoise tribesman and turned him into dust. Upon witnessing this scene, the group of green turtle clansmen couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. 2 level 3 green tortoise tribesmen had been killed in the blink of an eye. This kind of terrifying strength caused the hearts of all the green tortoise tribesmen to tremble. They looked at Diamond Willow with deep respect. Seeing that all of the green tortoise race members were stunned, Su Chen turned to the undead race member and asked in a low voice, "Is there a realm passage that leads to the human race here?" "Senior, I don't know. I'm from the undead clan, so I don't understand the situation here." Under Su Chen's gaze, the undead race member trembled and hurriedly replied. Moreover, he even took the opportunity to point out his identity, thinking that it would make Su Chen somewhat wary. "What's the point of keeping you if you don't know anything?" Su Chen snorted and smashed the head of the undead race member with a palm strike. Bang! As the headless corpse of the undead tribesman fell to the ground, the eyelids of the green turtle tribesmen twitched violently. They didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Even a level 6 evolver had been casually squashed to death. It was clear to see how powerful Su Chen was. In the face of such a terrifying existence, all of the green turtle tribesmen felt uneasy. "You guys, get over here." Su Chen's gaze fell on the level 3 green turtle tribesmen and shouted. These level 3 green turtle tribesmen gritted their teeth and fearfully walked towards Su Chen. "You should know about the realm passage, right?" Su Chen narrowed his eyes. His gaze was as sharp as a knife as he said coldly, "Senior, there used to be a realm passage that led to the human race, but it has been destroyed," one of the green turtle tribesmen replied first. Chapter 578. Without a passageway, they would not be able to return to the human continent. This was something that Su Chen did not want to see. After pondering for a while, he asked, "Are there any passageways that lead to other races?" The Green Turtle tribe did not have a passageway that led to the human continent, but other races might have one. If they could enter the territories of other races, they would still have a chance to return to the human continent. There are two. One leads to the Undead tribe, and the other leads to the Beast tribe, one of the Green Turtle tribesmen answered truthfully. Su Chen had already guessed that there was a passageway that led to the Undead tribe, so he did not pay much attention to it. However, when he heard about the Beast tribe, he was extremely excited. When he was in Tongtian City, he had killed many members of the Beast tribe, so he was quite familiar with them. The Beast tribe was a relatively large tribe, but their strongest member was only at level 9. With his current strength and more than 5,000 energy points, he was not afraid of a level 9 cultivator. This way, he would not encounter any danger when he entered the Beast tribe's continent. Moreover, the Beast tribe had opened 2 passageways on Chinyu Island, so there was a high possibility that they had a third or even a fourth passageway. Where is the passageway that leads to the Beast tribe? Su Chen asked anxiously. North Foot City. The Green Turtle tribesman answered without hesitation. Satoshi, check the location of North Foot City and how far it is from here, Su Chen instructed the intelligent war chariot. A few seconds later, the intelligent war chariot replied, "Master, it is less than 500 kilometers away." 500 kilometers. With the intelligent war chariot speed, they would arrive in about an hour. Su Chen nodded slightly and opened the pet breeding space. He summoned all his spiritual pets and ordered, "Attack together. Don't let any of the Green Turtle tribesmen go." To avoid unnecessary trouble, he had to rush to North Foot City as soon as possible. However, there were tens of thousands of Green Turtle tribesmen here, which meant that thousands of fragments could be dropped. He would not be satisfied if he did not kill all of them. He summoned all his spiritual pets and decided to end the battle quickly. Kill! Yang Hao and the others took the lead and charged toward the Green Turtle tribesmen. The other spiritual pets also took action, and even the intelligent war chariot joined the hunt. For a moment, miserable screams rang out, and the entire East Imperial City turned into a purgatory. "Senior, what you're doing is going against the heavens." A level 3 Green Turtle tribesman roared at Su Chen angrily when he saw his tribesmen being slaughtered one by one. "You also know that it's against the heavens." Su Chen snorted and scolded angrily. "How many humans did you kill when the Green Tortoise race invaded Vajra City? Today's outcome is your retribution." As soon as he finished speaking, he smashed the head of the Green Tortoise clan member with a punch and then joined in the slaughter. In an hour, tens of thousands of Green Tortoise tribesmen were slaughtered in the East Royal City. Only a few managed to escape. After collecting the fragments, Su Chen stored the spiritual pets in the pet breeding space. Then, he called everyone to get in the car and drove straight to North Foothill City. On the way, Su Chen sat in the driver's seat and began to count the fragments. This time, a total of more than 3,000 fragments had dropped. The harvest was quite bountiful. Su Chen picked out a few useful items and exchanged the rest for energy points. The total number of energy points reached more than 8,000. After counting the fragments, he wanted to rest for a while. Unexpectedly, the intelligent war chariot suddenly reminded him, "Master, a large group of mutated tribesmen is coming toward us." Chapter 579. Satoshi, can we get rid of them? Su Chen frowned slightly and whispered. Normally, if he encountered aliens, no matter how many there were, he would not hesitate to kill them. But now, he was in a hurry to rush to Beilu City to check the passage and did not want to waste time. The intelligent war chariot replied, "Master, the speed of the other party's MCV is not below mine. It will be difficult to get rid of them." To be able to own a MCV that was almost as fast as the intelligent war chariot, the other party must have a strong background. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and asked, "How many people are there? Which race are they from? What is the level of the strongest?" Since he could not get rid of them, he could only make a move. Before making a move, he naturally had to know the details of the other party. The other party is from the undead race. There are a total of 100 people. The strongest is a level 8 evolver, and there are 2 level 7 evolvers. The rest are level 3 and above. Hearing this, Su Chen muttered to himself. The strength of the other party was already very strong. No matter where they were, they could dominate a region. However, in his eyes, it was still not enough. With his strength, he could easily kill an ordinary level 8 evolver, not to mention that he still had the gold-devouring beetles, King Kong Willow, and Flaming Phoenix. Satoshi, stop the car. After Su Chen ordered, he opened the Winnow breeding space and contacted the Flaming Phoenix and King Kong Willow. Flaming Phoenix, Willow, later on, you two will attack together with me and besiege the level 8 undead race. In order to save time, he was prepared to use thunderous means to kill the other party. Yes. The Flaming Phoenix and King Kong Willow replied in unison. Not long after the intelligent war chariot stopped, 7 black MCV caught up from behind. When they came close, they spread out and surrounded the intelligent war chariot. Then, a large number of undead race people poured out of the MCV. You all wait in the car. Su Chen ordered and walked out of the car. Hey, it's really a human. At this moment, an old man with a flat nose glanced at Su Chen and said coldly, Human, how did you enter here? If you confess honestly, you can avoid physical pain. It seems that you are the level 8 evolver. After Su Chen muttered, a purple light flashed under his feet. His figure turned into a phantom and rushed straight toward the old man with the flat nose. You're courting death. A look of disdain appeared on the face of the old man with a flat nose. From the aura emitted by Su Chen, he could tell that he was a level 7 evolver. A level 7 evolver dared to take the initiative to attack a level 8 evolver? Wasn't that seeking death? Just as Su Chen was about to reach him, the old man pulled out a pitch-black axe and chopped down at Su Chen's head. Unexpectedly, just as the giant axe was raised above his head, he felt an invisible force pressing down on him from all directions. The power was so strong that it made him feel like he was stuck in mud, and all of his movements became sluggish. Level 8 spiritual power. The old man with the flat nose was shocked and shouted, Stop him! He knew very well that it was impossible to break free from the shackles of a level 8 spiritual power in a short time. Once Su Chen rushed over, he would be in danger. Therefore, he had to let his subordinates buy him time. The 2 level 7 evolvers beside the old man looked at each other and rushed forward without hesitation to try to stop Su Chen. Su Chen was already prepared. He shook his hand, and 2 balls of light, 1 gold and 1 red, shot out. It was Flaming Phoenix and King Kong Willow. Chapter 580. Kill them. Su Chen pointed at the 2 level 7 undead and gave the order. The Diamond Willow sneered and punched one of the level 7 undead. Boom. This undead did not know the strength of the Diamond Willow and chose to fight head-on. The punch broke all the bones in his body and killed him. Although the Diamond Willow was only level 7, he had a saint-level body when he was alive and was known as the Diamond Indestructible Body. How could an ordinary level 7 evolver compare to him? On the other side, the Flaming Phoenix opened its mouth and spat out a fireball, burning the other level 7 undead to ashes. Although it was only level 6, the fireball it spat out was its natal flame and contained the power of the law of fire. Its power was unparalleled. Even Su Chen's desert sand fire could not compare to it. It was normal for it to be able to kill a level 7 evolver in one fell swoop. How is this possible? The old man with the flat nose saw his 2 level 7 subordinates being killed in the blink of an eye. He was so scared that his heart almost stopped beating. At this moment, he was startled awake. The young human in front of him was definitely not someone he could fight against. If he wanted to live, he could only beg for mercy. Senior, spare my life. The old man with the flat nose shouted loudly. He no longer cared about the face of a level 8 evolver. Su Chen was unmoved and raised one hand. Suddenly, a small mountain with flowing lights and vibrant colors appeared above the old man's head. The 5-colored flowing light above it spun, releasing an extremely violent pressure from it. It gave people the feeling that the small mountain in front of them was not only 30 meters in size, but it was like a towering mountain that could not be moved by human strength. This is a divine artifact. Seeing the 5-colored mountain smash down on his head, the old man with the flat nose's eyes were filled with despair. Boom! Accompanied by an earth-shattering sound, the old man with the flat nose was smashed into the ground. The weight of the primordial 5 Extremes mountain was not a joke. Other than the diamond willow and the gold-devouring beetles, which had abnormally strong bodies, ordinary cultivators could not withstand it. The old man with the flat nose was a good example. At this time, he had already been smashed into a pile of meat paste, completely dead. Seeing this scene, the surrounding undead clan members were scared out of their wits and fled in all directions. Kill them all. Leave no one alive. Su Chen ordered and raised his hand to launch a Pegasus meteor punch. Hundreds of fist shadows fell, and 40 to 50 undead clansmen died on the spot. Flaming Phoenix and Diamond Willow also attacked at the same time, slaughtering the remaining undead tribe members in just a few breaths. He is getting stronger and stronger. Shen Mingfei, who was in the intelligent war chariot, sighed with emotion when she saw Su Chen and his 2 spiritual pets kill so many masters in an instant. Su Chen activated the automatic pickup function. After collecting more than 300 fragments, he returned to the car. Satoshi continued towards North Foot City. Su Chen whispered as he sat in the driver's seat and began to count the fragments. The intelligent war chariot drove at full speed towards North Foot City. About an hour later, the intelligent war chariot appeared in front of a huge city. This city was none other than North Foot City. At this time, a large number of Green Turtle clan members were entering and exiting the city gate. It looked very lively. In this regard, it was no different from a human city. Su Chen glanced forward and smirked. Satoshi, fire up and kill your way into the city. Chapter 581. The sound of a gunshot echoed in front of the North Foothill City gate. The head of one of the Green Tortoise tribesmen exploded, and blood splattered everywhere. The green tortoises in front of the city gate were stunned. Before they could react, the sound of gunfire rang in their ears. Boom boom beep. Tot-a-tot. The pulse cannon and ungraded Gatling gun opened fire at the same time, causing a bloodbath in front of the city gate. The highest level of the green tortoises in front of the city gate was only level 2, and they could not withstand such powerful firepower. In the blink of an eye, countless of them were killed. Run! The surviving green tortoises screamed and ran into the city. The intelligent war chariot charged into the city as if there was no one there, and started a massacre. Everywhere it went, there were corpses of the green tortoises. None of the corpses were intact, and they were all torn to pieces. At this moment, North Foothill City and East Imperial City were like purgatory. Su Chen glanced at the central control screen and asked in a low voice, Satoshi, how many green tortoises are there in North Foothill City? More than 23,000, the intelligent war chariot replied immediately. North Foothill City was considered a big city, but the number of green tortoises was too small, which disappointed Su Chen. However, his main goal was to find the interworld passage, so killing a few was acceptable. After a while, he summoned all his spiritual pets and ordered, massacre the city. Don't let a single foreign tribesman go. Massacring a city was a very cruel and bloody thing to do, but every time he thought of the crimes committed by the green tortoises on Thousand Feather Island, Su Chen did not feel guilty at all. Good and evil would be repaid in the end, and it was not yet time. The green tortoises massacred the humans in King Kong City, so he would kill all the green tortoises in North Foothill City. In fact, if he was not in a hurry to return to the human continent, he would have wiped out the green tortoises. After receiving Su Chen's order, A group of spiritual pets rushed into the city and started the killing mode. Wu Yang and the others also got out of the car and joined in the hunt. Satoshi, find the strongest person in North Foot City and lock onto his position, Su Chen instructed. He still did not know the specific location of the interdomain passageway and planned to capture one and interrogate it. Master, there's a level 3 green tortoise trying to escape. He's on top of the western wall right now, the intelligent war chariot replied. Su Chen glanced at the control screen and chased after the level 3 green tortoise. A few minutes later, he returned to the intelligent war chariot with a green turtle in his hand. Su Chen tossed the green tortoise to the ground and asked coldly, "Where is the inter-realm passageway to the Imperial Beast tribe?" The green tortoise tribesman sprawled on the ground and replied in a panicked and uneasy manner, "Senior, the interworld passage is at the Hall of Harmony in the east of the city. Satoshi, search the Manha Temple and lock onto its location." Su Chen instructed before continuing to ask the green tortoise, "What is the highest level of cultivator that can pass through that inter-realm passageway?" Before the interdomain passageway was completely stabilized, there were restrictions on entry and exit. Generally speaking, the higher the level, the harder it was to enter and exit. Su Chen was now at level 7, which was not a low level. He was worried that he would not be able to pass through the interdomain passageway. The green tortoise tribesman thought for a moment before replying, "Level 7 cultivators can barely pass through. Any higher and the interdomain passageway will not be able to withstand it." Su Chen heaved a sigh of relief as if a heavy burden had been lifted from his shoulders. After a while, he killed the green tortoise tribesman and began to collect his fragments. Chapter 582. In less than an hour, all the green tortoise clansmen in Beilu City were slaughtered. Su Chen collected the fragments and hurried to the Thousand Harmony Palace with the others. The interrealm passage in the Thousand Harmony Palace was no different from the interrealm passages he had seen before. In fact, the interrealm passage was similar to a large-scale teleportation portal. Because it was a trans-realm teleportation portal, its requirements were naturally much higher than ordinary teleportation portals. Through the interrealm passage, Su Chen could clearly see the situation on the other side. On the other side of the interrealm passage, there seemed to be a valley where several beast tamers were patrolling. However, they looked a little lazy, as if they were not worried that someone would come and destroy the interrealm passage. To avoid any unexpected problems, Su Chen was the first to rush into the interrealm passage. The feeling was similar to when he entered the teleportation portal. After a moment of dizziness, Su Chen appeared on the other side of the interrealm passage, which was the continent of the Beast Tamer clan. Seeing this, Wu Yang and the others did not hesitate and entered one after another. "Who are you?" "He seems to be from the human race?" Su Chen's sudden appearance immediately caused the group of beast tamers to cry out in surprise. They all moved forward and surrounded Su Chen. At this moment, Wu Yang and the others appeared one by one beside Su Chen. Seeing so many humans appear at once, the surrounding beast tamers were shocked. They could not figure it out. The interrealm passage here clearly led to the Green Tortoise clan. Even if someone came out, it should be someone from the Green Tortoise clan. Why did it have to be humans? Could it be that the Green Tortoise clan's territory had been conquered by the human race? "Humans, why are you here? Tell us the truth, or we will kill you immediately." A beast tamer riding a wild boar glanced at Su Chen and the others vigilantly and shouted loudly. Su Chen curled his lips and chuckled. "You don't have the right to know." As soon as he finished speaking, he released his mind power and crushed the other beast tamers, leaving only the boar-riding beast tamer alive. Telekinesis Master. Seeing his clansmen die one after another, the boar-riding beast tamer was inexplicably terrified. He quickly realized that the young man in front of him must be a spirit reader master, and an exceptionally powerful one at that. Otherwise, there was no way he could have killed so many of his clansmen in an instant. "Where is this place? Answer honestly and don't make any futile struggles." Su Chen narrowed his eyes and asked coldly. The Beastmaster clenched his teeth and suddenly roared, "Human, How dare you behave so atrociously here? Aren't you afraid of death? Su Chen's strength was enough to make him feel a deep sense of fear. However, this was the continent of the beast tamers. No matter how strong Su Chen and the others were, there were only a few of them. Would they dare to go against the entire beast tamers? Thinking of this, he decided to throw caution to the wind. Anyone who dared to be arrogant in front of Su Chen would not have a good ending. This beast tamer was no exception. There was a loud explosion. The wild boar that the beast tamer was sitting on, as well as his 2 legs, exploded into a cloud of blood mist. Ah! The beast tamer fell to the ground and kept rolling on the ground, howling in pain. Due to the large commotion, a large number of beast tamers quickly rushed over. There were about 100 of them. Just as the 100 beast tamers were about to reach him, Su Chen raised his hand and unleashed a Pegasus meteor punch. Golden fist shadows fell from the sky, accompanied by a series of bone-breaking sounds. The 100 beast tamers were smashed into a pile of minced meat without being able to put up any resistance. Chapter 583. Witnessing this scene, the beast master lying on the ground stopped howling. He was completely stunned, and his eyes were filled with a deep layer of fear. Obviously, Su Chen's powerful attack had shown him what it meant to be unparalleled. It had also destroyed his mental defenses. Tell me the truth, and I'll give you a quick death. Otherwise, I'll make you suffer. Su Chen's gaze fell on the Beastmaster. His voice was as cold as a glacier. Hearing this, the Beastmaster trembled all over. He hurriedly replied, "Senior, this is Zio Valley." Su Chen nodded slightly and continued to ask, "Does this place belong to Nan Man or Bei?" When he was in Heaven Connect City, he learned from Jiang Wei, the city lord of Heaven Connect City, that the Beastmaster tribe was actually divided into 2 major factions, Nan Man and Bei. The Beastmaster tribe that appeared in Heaven Connect City belonged to the Bei faction. The Beastmaster didn't hesitate and answered truthfully, "We belong to Bei." "Where is the Saint of Bei now?" Su Chen asked in a deep voice. There was a level 9 existence in the Beastmaster tribe who had threatened him in Heaven Connect City. The saint is in Wuhai City. The Beastmaster hesitated for a while, but under Su Chen's gaze he still answered truthfully. "Wuhai City." Su Chen narrowed his eyes and muttered. His main purpose here was to find a way to return to the human continent. If he had enough time and conditions, he would like to kill the Saint of Bei. Needless to say, a level 9 cultivator was powerful, but Su Chen was still very confident. He was at level 7 now. Using the Atlas shape-shifting technique would elevate him to level 8. With his strength, he could easily kill enemies of a higher level. Dealing with an ordinary level 9 cultivator was not a big problem. Is there anyone in the Beastmaster tribe who has surpassed level 10? Su Chen asked again. For now, only a saint-level expert could pose a threat to him. This was a matter of life and death, so he had to find out. The Beastmaster answered affirmatively. Su Chen heaved a sigh of relief, but he didn't completely believe the other party's words. He wasn't worried that the beast tamers would lie, but that the beast tamers were too weak. Such a person would definitely not have a high status in the beast tamer clan. The information that he could get in touch with and know would be limited. Is there a realm passage leading to the human race's continent here? Su Chen changed the topic and went straight to the point. We don't have it in Bei, but I heard that the Yuechi city of the southern barbarians has it, the beast tamer answered after thinking for a while. Su Chen's heart skipped a beat. With the interdomain passage, there was a possibility of returning to the human continent. Then, he asked calmly, what's the cultivation of the strongest person in the southern barbarian lands? He's also a level 9 evolver, the beast tamer answered honestly. Su Chen had asked all the questions he needed to ask. Then he mercilessly slaughtered the members of the beast clan. After collecting the fragments, he took out the intelligent war chariot and asked everyone to get on. Satoshi, can you find the location of Yuchi City? Su Chen asked as soon as he got on the chariot. Master, Yuchi City is not within the range of detection. We can't lock onto its location, the intelligent war chariot replied. The intelligent war chariot's search range was only 500 kilometers, and this was not the human race's continent. It was normal that they couldn't lock onto the location of Yuchi City. Su Chen narrowed his eyes and looked at the central control screen. Originally, he wanted to see if there were any members of the Beast Tamer clan nearby and catch some as tour guides. But inadvertently he found 2 blue dots. The blue dots represented humans. There were traces of humans on the Beast Tamer clan's continent. This made Su Chen feel inexplicably surprised. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.